They say credit belongs to the man in the arena who spends himself in a worthy cause. The glory is reserved for the few who, no matter what, answer the call to enter the arena. It echoes out, reverberating across the globe. It only acts to reach the bold, never the timid. The call delivers victory to the deserving and rewards the devoted. For when your time comes, there is only one option. Enter the arena. Fight for the call.
Hi everybody and welcome to the Call of Duty League. It is Stage 2, Week 2, as we are starting off the day with the defending champions taking on one of the biggest surprise teams on the year. It'll be Empire versus Legion as we join you from our Santa Monica virtual studio. What, sunny Santa Monica? It's looking great, even virtual. Say what, the pixels even look just as good as the real thing. Maybe not, I don't know. But hi everybody, it's myself, Leno, joined in part by Standy. Buddy, it is going to be a great day, a number of different awesome games what to kind of kick off this week as we're going to take a look at our CDL points presented by Game Fuel. One thing that of course sticks off the page, Atlanta FaZe 145 points right now. Second highest team being the Dallas Empire. FaZe, of course, yet to be taken down by a single roster, 10-0. But again, you got some teams who are trying to fight to get into that top 3 range. Empire, of course, being one of those teams. But excited to see what Dallas can kind of provide us with, kind of given their circumstances, given the way that their last series went versus Seattle. Standy, I want to ask you, though, when we talk about Dallas specifically, are they a team that you fear right now?
Oh, if you're any other team besides Atlanta FaZe, you are still fearing the Dallas Empire. They have one of the best submachine gun duels between Shotzzy and Huke, and they just continue to ride on through those series. The only thing about this team is those search and destroys. A lot of those search and destroys usually go down to the wire, probably winning at a 6-4, 6-5 rate. But the Dallas Empire is still a phenomenal team from top to bottom. Second best team that we have in the CDL. Like I said, the only team that's not afraid of them is Atlanta FaZe, and that's because they can just handle them in search and destroy. If they can just improve in that game mode, we will have more battles, more close battles between these two teams.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you bring up that search and destroy because what? I mean, FaZe, in regards to the series that we're looking back at, and we talk about kind of that Stage 1 major final, everybody's talked about, hey, it's going to be the rematch. We're going to be excited for it. How's it really going to work out? And what, 18-6 in total rounds, Atlanta FaZe took those search and destroys in a very solid fashion, to put it lightly. But what we talk about search and destroys, we'll go and transfer things now over to OpTic because they've obviously been a hot team when we talk about the S&D conversation as of late. One team that really hasn't looked as scary in this mode has been Chicago. Again, the primary talking point around this team has been themselves in the respawns. It has been their ability to dominate in the controls, in the hard points. But in search and destroy, again, the struggles have been apparent so far for Chicago. We talked about that 5-7 record. Attack not really looking very good there, Standy, at 20-33. One of the primary topics coming in today, OpTic, can they clean up those search and destroys?
And I feel like if they're going to clean up those search and destroys, a lot of it relies on Envoy, who is their playmaker. When they are losing search and destroys, he is at a 0.63. When they are winning, he is at a 1.67.
Wow.
That is such a drastic jump from basically the bottom of the barrel all the way to the top. Jumping up a whole extra point, you can just tell when he's filling himself in search and destroy, being that playmaker, always being that island player, just finessing his way into situations with that SMG. I feel like he's the backbone when we talk about Chicago search and destroy. If he plays well, they obviously succeed.
Yeah, man, what Envoy has been absolutely scary, especially because in those search and destroy wins for OpTic. It was kind of the same story last year in Modern Warfare, and it appears to be the same thing here in Cold War as well. Well, again, we kind of continue the transfer of different teams from search and destroy to search and destroy. One team has been good at search and destroy, Minnesota Røkkr. Unfortunately for them, that's really been about it. As we'll go and take a look at their Astro Social soundboard, it has been struggles in the Røkkr camp, and they have officially made a change. Standy coming in for Major Maniac starting off today. Standy tweets out, "Hey man, blessed and grateful for the opportunity. Excited to be aside a phenomenal group of players and an incredible franchise as well." I mean, what study? Standy has been excellent, really, in the Challengers division, a guy to really kind of look out for, and somebody who I am very intrigued, very excited to see in his debut today.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him play, man. We know how aggressive he can be with that submachine gun. I actually had the chance to talk to Felony, which is one of his former teammates, and Felony just told me that Standy, he's one of those submachine gun players that makes the map easier for you. If you're that second duo in that submachine gun, so in case of this instance, attach, he's going to be able to pick up a lot of those kills, and Standy, he's going to be being the nuisance with that submachine gun. Make sure he's staying on the hill, just making the right plays for his team. But the most improvement that we're going to see out of this Røkkr roster is going to be Priestahh switching to that flex role. Priestahh was currently the last player in KD throughout the entire CDL, and we don't really expect that out of a player of his caliber. Switching to that flex role, hopefully he's going to get a lot more comfortable, take it back to those Black Ops 4 days with Atlanta FaZe, but he's going to be that key, man. If he steps up, it's going to be such a phenomenal start for this team, and it's all going to start on those hard points. What is he going to be able to bring to this roster? Yeah. Like I said, 0.85 isn't just cutting it for a player of his caliber.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? When we talk about, like, I almost laugh because it's like a 0.85 for a guy like Priestahh. It's just crazy to kind of think about. Spotlight on a number of different players from Minnesota, not just the new guy stepping in Standy, but also in the role change there for Priestahh as well. Let's go and pull up our U.S. Army schedule coming in, not just for today, but really for the entire week that we've got in regards to matches. We're taking a look at Thursday and Friday. Folks, you know it. Empire taking on Legion. We got Chicago OpTic later versus the Røkkr as well. And then on Friday, Los Angeles Thieves taking on the London Royal Ravens, now with PaulEhx in the lineup. Totally different team. LA Thieves also debuting Venom. To close out that day, we'll be having the Subliners taking on the Los Angeles Guerrillas as well. A lot of things to be excited about, especially in our first 2 days, but we'll go and take a look at Saturday and Sunday. Really, for me, Study, I kind of, a little bit of a bullet point, kind of highlighting a few of these games. In particular, it's those game-fueled marquee matches, FaZe versus Thieves, and to close out Stage 2, Week 2, it will be OpTic taking on the Florida Mutineers. Again, a lot of great games. When we talk about seeding, Week 2 can really do that. And we're going to see a lot of teams kind of moving up and down in the standings as what we kind of approach our Stage 2 major. A lot of things to be excited about, including our first few games of the day. But folks, after this quick little break, we have got the Paris Legion taking on the Dallas Empire. We'll be back on your screens with this game in just a moment.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance, auto, renters and home insurance that's made to help the military community protect what they've worked hard for.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Stage 2, Week 2. It is set to be a great day of some good old Call of Duty. Dallas Empire versus Paris Legion, our first match to kick off the day. Studdy, what man? It's gonna be a great day of matches. It's been some time, but since we've got to cast each other, it's been a full week. How you doing, my friend?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm excited to get into day one, week 2 of these matches, man, to see what some of these underdog teams were able to prove. Obviously, if they were able to get better going into this week and be able to showcase it.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a lot, kind of some proving ground opportunities for a lot of these teams. Some rosters looking to try and make a name for themselves, especially maybe after the earlier week performances. And one of those teams happens to be our first one that we're getting ready to introduce. Put your hands together for the Paris Legion.
Wonderful start here for Paris Legion. Paris Legion just about pushed that player off the hard point.
Just can they clutch up and go big?
Classic just being aggressive in the plane.
Fire's got to get on the bomb, and he will. He finds the kill.
Unbelievable stuff.
Awkward from the back end, able to pick up 3 along the way.
Paris Legions.
What a round.
And there's a look at your Paris Legion, a team that really has kind of been counted out a number of different times, really so far for them in Stage 2. They 3-0 Minnesota, come into the next match the very next day, get 3-1 by Chicago. Studdy, when we take a look at this group from top to bottom, what do you like today? What are you interested to see primarily from the Legion in this match?
I like this team from top to bottom. Like I said since the beginning of the year, this is the team that nobody wanted. And these guys have the perfect formula between themselves, and they're getting the job done in a lot of these series. What I expect from this team today is to show improvements in those search and destroys. Every single time that they have played, their search and destroy has gotten better. So if they can just stay consistent in that game mode, because we know it's Dallas Empire's worst game mode, they could have a chance in this series.
There's been a lot of people, right, talking about the Legion, saying, hey, this very well could be a great opportunity for them to play close against the Dallas Empire. Really, when we talk about both these teams' kind of backgrounds, Legion, a totally different roster in comparison to the Empire coming into the year. Let's go ahead and meet our our defending world championship team, the Empire.
Dallas Empire have smashed the gates open. Oh no, Huke is in, you mate. Oh, it's a shot punch. Oh no! Once again, they saved the day.
And there's a look at your Dallas Empire. You know him, you love him, you've seen him for a while, and you're going to see him again today. What, Studdy? I mean, again, excited to see this group play, kind of coming off of that insane Game 5 Round 11 series versus the Seattle Surge. What do you expect to see from the Empire coming into their match versus a very tricky Legion team?
Well, I need the Empire to just come out and absolutely dominate this series. They need to be able to try to improve in those game modes that Atlanta FaZe is just completely wiping the floor with them, and that's search and destroy. So if they're going to go up against Paris Legion, like I said, Paris Legion have been improving every series since they have been playing together, but those search and destroys for me are what are keeping Dallas Empire from being the #1 team in the CDL. If they can improve in that game mode, then they should be fine.
Yeah, some things to improve on, some things to work on for sure for the Dallas Empire. We're going to take a look at their keys to victory, their game field keys to victory coming into this one. Studdy, what do you got?
Yeah, Huke needs to continue to be the X factor in hard points, man. 1.39 in the KD wins compared to a 0.8 in KD losses. That's such a drastic jump, especially from a player of his caliber. I probably consider Huke the best in the game right now, but he's going to show it today, hopefully. And then Dallas Empire, the last 6 controls, they are currently 2-4. They need to be better versus Scraps and Aqua. Scraps and Aqua are both top 6 overall in KDs in that game mode, so they're going to have to show up big there and try to take that one away as well.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talk on Dallas Empire coming into this series saying, hey, they've kind of played down to their competition at times. You can't do that versus, like I said, a very tricky Legion team. Let's go and take a look at our game field keys to victory now for Paris. Fire needs to have a better performance versus the SMG duo of Shotzzy and Huke versus Chicago, put up a 0.74 KD on his birthday. Sad story. But hey, you know what? Slow down Huke's playmaking ability as he can take over games and give Dallas comeback opportunities. And then also, man, avoid checkmate. I mean, really, avoid checkmate in the vetoes. Dallas, that has been their playground. 7-2, really in all game modes combined. And as we take a look at our maps and modes, I'm not seeing a checkmate, but I am seeing quite a few rays. We got Express, Search, and Destroy, but primarily that Garrison Hardpoint to kick this one off, Studdy.
Yeah, the Garrison hardpoint is going to be huge on both sides of these teams. You have, on the side of Paris, they are 4-0 on this map, undefeated on it, so they're feeling really confident on this map. And on the opposite side, you have the Empire, who are currently 3-1, 75% win rate. Still going to be a great map between these two teams. This map right here is going to basically tell the story of the series for me. If Dallas Empire are able to walk away with this, we saw them win an insane 6-5 versus Seattle on that Express Search and Destroy. Then you're going to go into that raid control. But this map 1 is going to be it for me because this is Paris's Paris's best hardpoint. So if they're able to walk away with this one, it should be a great series.
Yeah, as you touched on it, right? I mean, Huke, his ability on hardpoint, his ability in Garrison hardpoint specifically has been terrifying, right? A 1.39 again in their wins. But on Garrison hardpoint specifically for Legion, it has been Aqua. What, they're, like I said, 4-0 on this mode and map combination. And in those Garrison hardpoint study, Aqua's rocking a 1.43. Without a doubt, one of the scariest players to look at on the map, especially on his playground here in Garrison. But here we go, folks. We're starting off the day. Empire versus Legion. Kicking things off on some good old Gary HP. Early kills going down as the Legion win the trades.
So the Legion, and right there, they're going to drop 4, so they're going to have the early setup for this P1 hardpoint. They're still going to keep spawns for that P2. 35 seconds remaining on this clock. You're going to see Dallas Empire just trying to get these guys off this time. Crim's going to open up with 1 by shooting the barrel. iLLeY with the second. There goes the third. And eventually, everything is going to get traded out. So now this is going to be time in favor of the Empire. But you see what Paris are trying to do. Trying to set up for that rotation to next. But also not give up a lot of time towards Dallas. A lot of nades coming in left and right. So far, this is a nice, junky P1 hardpoint between both teams.
Yeah, and again, if you're Legion, you're kind of cool with this, right? You're fine with some scrappy time off the start. Why? Because you have that rotation or the money hill. Those that, you know, maybe a little bit new to Call of Duty, money hill, that's where you expect to see a lot of time. Much like, you know, a money ball in basketball, this is the hill where we can see a lot of time start to get mustered from one of our teams. And one of those rosters happens to be the Paris Legion, locking things up and really fire. He's not going to spot anybody in green. Why? Because the push is coming in from mid. The push is coming in from bricks. Aqua's able to drop a nice double, but it's Crimsix there for the cleanup. It's all on to the rookie. It's all on to the man to try and go big, but he falls. And it looks like Paris trying to hold valiantly. The pinch comes in, and Empire, they break on in the HP.
Well, the Empire still haven't been able to get any second, not until now. So they're going to be able to get this remaining 25 seconds. But if you're the Paris, you get 30 seconds off that P2 hardpoint. And you also have the rotations towards P3. It's all about just trying to slow down iLLeY and Shotzzy off this rotation in the middle of the map. They got 1 kill, so 1 player is going to spawn out. Fire is going to go huge. Aqua and Scraps as well. So that's going to spawn all the players from Dallas Empire out at the old. They're also picking up the remaining junk time, and now they're going to be fully set up for P3.
Yeah, and we can't stress that enough, how important that situation is for Paris. They win those engagements, and now they're set up in a great spot to maybe even get us to 80 points, maybe an 80-30 advantage as we'll look to head into P4 after this next 45 seconds are off. But out of the engagements, look right now for the Empire. Crim trying to make his way through vents as he'll get cut down. Now sets up iLLeY with that new and improved QBZ. Maybe setting up Huke, maybe trying to set up a play, but unfortunately for Huke the Nuke, one of the greatest players in the game, let's just say a few of his teammates actually dropped, but he's making some good plays inside his shop. And if you're Dallas, you're just at least not allowing for the Legion to get any seconds. One that they're heavily relying on is one now that they're stressing out about. Crimsix now from the flank causing some problems. That's 2 in a row for him. Can he make it 3? Shuts down fire. Last 7 seconds going to Dallas.
And if you're the Empire there, you lost rotations, but you basically kept the Legion off of every single second on that P3 hardpoint. Job well done. The only thing is, now that they're going to have those back spawns sitting towards back P3, and early time is going to go in favor of the Legion. But now, iLLeY and Shotzzy are able to open up with 2. Aqua's still trying to hold down this right lane for his team. We talked about it before the series. Fire needs to step up. We saw him versus Chicago. He had a 0.7 in that series. So far, he's 8-7. Aqua really leading the way, though. 15-7 on a 5 spree. Trying to work towards some streaks. Great shots onto Huke. And if Paris Legion are starting to build this lead up little by little, if Aqua can earn these streaks right here, they can open this game wide open.
They can. This is getting scary for the Dallas Empire. Legion, they're starting to lounge as Aqua now sitting on 7, make it 8 in a row. aLLeY having a phenomenal performance right now for PaulEhx as the Empire begin to struggle to try and get out of their spawn. Let's go and listen into the comms right now with the Empire as they are in desperate need to bring this comeback on this next HP. Let's go to an Astro listening with the Empire.
You sit on the rail heady. Yep.
Rail heady
nice.
does.
Good job. Yo, they're gonna be all over green.
Watch out, square in the brick.
Yeah, flying left.
Green and square. Green and square.
Bricks in the super square. Octane classic.
On stack.
Yo,
Classic.
one guy is square right now. These bricks. Left side bricks.
I'm playing my life for a second.
He's on him. He's running back. You flood yourself.
You're on stack. You're
Yeah,
dead.
Back off.
Nice.
Good shit.
Yeah, they could be back right.
I'm going green.
Back right, classic.
I'm watching back alley. Fire dead back alley.
Shit, scrap.
I'm going back.
aLLeY mid tank, then keep on
Good
him.
job.
Just spawning back left.
Yeah, and I have your back.
Alright.
They could go out. I have a trophy on you.
Back left dead.
Go mid tank. Mid tank straps on me.
Player. I'm one shot. I need help.
Yeah. I'm coming.
Big.
Yeah.
Coming to help you.
It's at all.
No. Sit down.
Bricks, you going there. Icon.
I'm blocking.
One brick, you right.
I'm blocking.
One bullet. Classic.
I'm blocking.
Classic. One shot back alley.
You show a trophy yet?
Yeah, we showed it.
I got one more going green.
Stay on hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hitting that right now.
aLLeY streak.
One's going green.
Okay. I'm in
I'm
red.
flat.
Yo, straps there, Victor right now.
I need it all.
You're triple stack.
Number one. Yo.
Stay down. Stay down. Lay down here.
Classic.
Need over you as well.
Yeah, I'm watching L.
Dude, right? Yeah, he's like their side. He's probably gonna.
Yeah, just show
Definitely gonna be pinching.
Yep. One's in L. One's in L.
One guy's definitely top green as well.
One's in L.
Looking top green. I don't see
Yo,
any.
L.
Middle straps, he's on triple
Keep
stack.
staying down. Keep staying down. One's still L.
Standy coming into the comms. Dallas, they were down big, and now that we rejoin them after that listening, they're now bringing things within, about 5 seconds. What'd you like there from the comms out of the Empire?
I just love how clean the comms were. You heard Shotzzy, he was sitting around that bricks area just calling out everything for Huke. You heard the urgency out of Huke when he was on that hard point. He was like, I'm on a 5 spree. Did someone hop this point so eventually I can get some streaks? He gets the 6, but eventually he drops. But those are just clean comms out of Dallas. Way to be able to fight back into this game. You're going to see Shotzzy early rotation towards that P2, able to win a huge one-on-one gunfight. So the only player in a position to try to stop this is going to be Scraps. Here comes iLLeY in the backside. And so far, the Dallas Empire have chained together P5, P1, and P2 together to make them in favor of this lead now.
That's a great call, my friend. But Aqua looking really to pull out the get-out-of-jail-free card. Despite those rotations, he will at least keep the Empire off the point for a short time. Again, Aqua, we talked about his stats, a 1.4 on Garrison Hardpoint. PaulEhx yet to lose this map and mode. But Shotzzy is putting on a performance himself. Playing great right now over at Radar. Final 15 seconds begin to echo throughout the map, but it's Shotzzy on the 5 spree. Contested hill finally gets taken down, but really in these last few hill study, it looks as if the PaulEhx Legion are having to really fight for these kills. It was much different to start off this game, but Dallas, they have set themselves up quite nicely on these last few, and now Shotzzy is an opportunity to make a play.
Yeah, Shotzzy's in a position to set up the pitch. He's going to be able to take down one, but he's going to drop to fire. Well, back to that P2, though. Shotzzy was single-handedly holding in that whole hardpoint by himself. He was contesting it for 50 seconds, eventually goes on a couple kill sprees, and just doesn't give enough time to the PaulEhx Legion. So now forces PaulEhx Legion to try to break it on the backside. 2 are going to drop. There goes the 3rd, and the 4-4 go down now for the Legion. The Empire have really hit the switch on this map so far. Like I said, man, they're just chaining every single hard point together, not giving the Legion any breath to try to fight back in.
Yeah, you can just see just the life really kind of going out of the Legion as they'll desperately need to try to turn things around. And again, the one guy who can do that for them, one guy who's been so great in this mode specifically, really in all the respawns, has been Aqua. Manages to take down Huke. So PaulEhx maybe in somewhat of a better spot, because if it's going to be any HP, it has to be this one. Setting up for floating tank. They've got Aqua pushed up nicely. Classic's watching that vent push, but he actually gets dropped from the backside. Nice shots coming in from Crim as they'll look to try and retake the hill. That's going to be a 1-to-1 split, but 3 fall for PaulEhx. Huke makes a nice impact, really, when it comes down to the map, but it's Legion with the trades, and Legion got a great setup right now to lock down a lot of this time.
Yeah, they need to get this time to be able to get back in this game. Currently down 60 points, 35 seconds remaining on this P4 hardpoint. iLLeY's going to open up with the first blood. Here comes Shotzzy pushing through dark. Great shots out of fire, though, to win that engagement. See the PaulEhx Legion is starting to back up. Starting to try to give up time and just hold this push from the Empire. 2 are going to drop once again. There goes the third. Last player is going to be Shotzzy. He's going to drop to Aqua. Oh, man, this is his playground, man. 28-12 right now. Pretty sure he's the only player on the PaulEhx Legion going positive. Only down 50 points. They just have to have a better P5 this second go-around because the Dallas Empire, they held it basically for a full 40, 50 seconds last time. That's going to be 3 down now for the PaulEhx Legion. All players going to be spawning towards back tank. You see that number 2 player in Crimsix trying to set up for the pinch. He's able to take down Classic. Here comes the pinch from all the opposite players. 3 are going to drop now for the Legion. Last player is going to be Aqua. And now this should be a full setup for the Dallas Empire to try to get some time.
Yeah, the nice vice script coming through from Dallas. As Legion, I'm going to have to work to try and get out of this. Really just like the sequence the Dallas are able to play it. Again, Legion looked great in that last HP. Did a great job of starting to fade back, but it really is that teamwork, right? This team's been together for such a long time. And that synergy is something to take note of. Huke going off right now toward the one side of the map, but unfortunately Crim falls, and that now sets up the Legion to hop inside of the hill. iLLeY, really with just a few seconds left, is trying to make a few plays. Every single second for them is valuable given the lead that they have. Now also keeping in mind, as we'll go ahead and exit the second set of rotations, Dallas also do have that P2 hill. So this is going to be kind of a constant struggle for Paris. Do you want to try to hop in the hill, or do you want to go for that initial rotation over at P2? I don't want to say undecided, but they're pretty much having the decision made for them. Shotzzy with some great plays over at green is not going to allow for Legion to go for the rotation. They have to hop inside of P1. Doing well at it, but they've got to continue to play great COD to bring this one close.
Yeah, so they're currently down 50 points. You know that they don't want to give a single ounce of time toward the Empire on this hard point. They also have to keep in mind for that P2. 2 players are going to drop now for the Empire. Crimsix with 2. He's going to get traded. But so far, the PaulEhx Legion are doing it. They're going to be able to get this remaining time on this hill. It's all about setting up a perfect break to try to break in towards that P2. You have 2 players coming off spawn, coming from the backside. Now, if you're the Dallas Empire, you just need to hold 1 push. 1 to 2 pushes will slow down and end this game for the Empire. 220 to 200. Time is starting to go in favor of the Empire. Crimsix winning a big gunfight around the backside. iLLeY's there for the help. Fire is in a position to try to play the trade. 3 are going to drop now for the Legion. There goes 4. 15 seconds remaining for the Empire to be able to close out this map.
Eris, I was going to say, somewhat playing desperate COD because that's all that it takes at this moment. Shotzzy finding the big one. Crim now through the flank. That's going to be 3 down in the feed. The last one is the Røkkr, and say goodnight as the Empire will claim the Game 1 hardpoint. Both these teams have been great on Garrison to start off the year, but unfortunately for Legion, that Garrison hardpoint streak of 4-0, that perfect map for them now comes to an end as Empire, they strike first.
Yeah, and like I said, it all goes back to those first rotation of hard points. At the very end of that P4, Dallas Empire were able to take that. And eventually they get a couple kills, and we're able to take the full 60 seconds on that P5. Then it rotates all the way to the second rotation of hard points, and they dominate P1 once again. And then Shotzzy goes big at P2. Every single hard point after that, when they needed to go big, they were getting the job done, and they fought back to the very end of that game to be able to close that one out. Dallas Empire walk away with that one.
Yeah, and that's a huge hit, right? If you're Legion, again, we're talking about kind of upset potential. How do you do it? Well, hey, you get a map that you have yet to lose on coming into your first opening hardpoint. That's where a lot of kind of surprises can come. Is hey, you catch the team off guard, you catch the opponents, right? The roster was kind of put in a good spot. You catch them off guard. That can be your chance, but unfortunately for them, it was not their day. It's really when we take a look back at this scorecard, it's 34 and 25 out of Crim, putting in 6,300 damage. He has continually been great for them, Study.
Yeah, he definitely has, man. And we were talking about it. We thought that was Aqua's playground, but Crimsix woke up that day, and he decided to be the beast, man. Really shut it down with that assault rifle on that map.
He did, man. He's looking like the Crim bot. That's without question. But hey, PaulEhx Legion, hey, like we said, when it comes down to that first hard point, that was their chance. Now they're going to have to rely on search and destroy. It's not been their most favored, but hey, it's a new day. It's a new stage. We'll be back with Game 2 right after this.
The Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. Lando and Study guiding you through the action as what has been a great series. To start things off, Dallas Empire versus Paris Legion. Legion, they lose that opening hard point the first time, losing Garrison HP. And now when we come into Search and Destroy, Study, this is where the stats really kind of start to come out for the Legion. Their struggles, they've been very, very noticeable.
Oh, well, I'm just looking immediately at this. Attacking rounds 12th in the league, that's dead last. And unfortunately, they're playing a map in Express where offensive is really strong on this map. You have to be aggressive towards that B-bomb site. But 16 and 36 record on your attacks is not what you want to be doing if you're the Paris Legion. Hopefully, they're able to change that stat up today in this Express Search and Destroy because, like I said, offense is really strong when you're being aggressive towards that B point. We also did see Dallas Empire go 6-5 versus Seattle, so anything can happen.
Yeah, and this is our quick scope presented by Scump. Again, when you look at the, kind of head-to-head of both these teams, of course, it is going to favor the Empire, but kind of to play devil's advocate a little bit, but Legion, you do have some experience on this one as well. I believe they took down OpTic on Express, so, they do have some reps on it. Again, it's kind of hard to avoid that attack record, that attack KD, but they're sitting at a .71 in offensive rounds. Who kind of has to be the player to turn things around on a map like Express? We talked about how you can kind of be aggressive over at the B site. If you're able to get it for the offense, you can be in a good spot. But really, in general, for you, Study, who has to be kind of the playmaker, especially in the offensive rounds here for Legion?
I feel like it has to be Classic. We know the way a Classic plays throughout the respawns, and he's just that finesse submachine gun player for the Paris Legion. So if he's able to work around that ticket booth area, play spots where we saw attach and players like aBeZy play when they sitting inside the ticket booth, just being aggressive towards the staircase as well with that submachine gun, he can really open up this map for his team.
And by the way, shout out, I don't know if those who have seen it on social media, maybe your first opportunity to see it. We see, a HUD update. We got defending, attacking now labeled, for both teams now. You can also see lives remaining for both these teams. That's also going to be in control as well. So major shout out to everybody putting in some great work. So now we come into this Search and Destroy, and a great performance for Aqua. Sees 3, takes down 2. Dallas instantly left, and that 2 versus 4. And you see Aqua, he is hungry, man. He's feeling himself. A nice reach out coming in from Huke, but it's Fire that wins it. A nice early offensive round for the Legion.
That was a great offensive round right there for the Legion. It all comes on the back of Aqua. So 3 players decided from the Empire to just rush straight up middle, try to take control of the ticket booth. But Paris Legion, they completely blind countered that. They had Aqua go towards that A site, eventually pinched the side on train, opened up with the 2-piece, and then everything else after that was traded. Perfectly executed round out of the Paris Legion players right there. Nobody drops. Now we're going to hop on offense with the Empire. You're going to see they're going to send 3 players aggressively towards that bottom B site. It's looking like they're just going to make a decoy. They're going to throw a nade, try to make some noise there, and try to wrap this back towards A now.
And one common talking point about Paris, especially on maps like Miami, is how much they like to stack sites. Empire clearly doing their homework. Classic looking to try to fire away with that first blood, and based off of that visual, Classic's going to go and lead the troops and say, hey, most likely a rotate. Let's at least get a 2-2 split. You are going to be relying on player 6, player 5, that being Classic and Scraps, to get the information. As Huke, clearing out lockers, tosses out the utility. Again, Empire feeling the pressure up to that first round. Not want to get first blooded. They've got the nice line sight. They've got the great perspectives, but it's Classic who comes through, slides out, gets the first blood, and most importantly, keeps his life. A second chance for him, as it will be Aqua who finds the kill onto 1. Now make it 2. Some great long-range shots coming in from him, as that's going to be iLLeY left in the 1 versus 3, cleans up 2 kills. How fast these rounds are going is hard to keep up with, but all that matters, based off of that scorecard, is that it's Legion up 2-0.
Yeah, and that was a great play out of Classic there. Yeah, perfect timing on the guy with the bomb. So he able to eliminate that player and eventually gets Huke 1 shot. So Aqua's able to get that kill and eventually picks up another 2 on the round. Great plays out of Aqua, currently 4-1 in the Search and Destroys, 2 rounds in a row. And if you're the Empire, I would just like them to be aggressive, man. Put your foot on the neck of the Paris Legion in this search and destroy, and just be aggressive towards that B site. I would have liked them to just hit it instead of rotating back. But it's looking like it's going to be an aggressive B push from the Paris Legion. Once again, they're going to open it up with 2 kills. Now it's going to be a 4v2.
I instantly make it a 1 versus 4. iLLeY saying, okay, what just happened? Where are my teammates at? Can we get some comms, please? That'd be great. iLLeY, best of luck, my man. Maybe spots the boot of Classic. The heal, possibly. 1 versus 3, and it's all Legion to start this one off. 3 fast rounds and 3 ones going toward Paris. And really, when we talk about the Empire, in Search and Destroy, right, we've been talking about 2 players that have kind of been struggling in this mode so far, Standy. It's been Shotzzy and iLLeY, 41 and 42 in the CDL in terms of their KD ranks, around 0.8. And what for Shotzzy, 0 and 3. iLLeY, he's having a better performance, but Empire, they definitely need to make a comeback. Needing to start with this round here on offense, and it appears that A is the primary target for them.
Yeah, so A is going to be wide open. They should be able to work this bomb plant with ease. You see that number 5 player in Scraps starting to wrap back. You see 2 players also hitting the bridge, so it's going to be 3 players at this A site now. A couple shoulders are getting thrown from the Dallas Empire players, just trying to gain some information. But look at Classic once again. With that submachine gun, he's trying to be aggressive towards that bomb site. Not trying to let the bomb planter put the bomb down. But iLLeY is going to open up the first blood onto fire, trying to go for the second on the Scraps, but he's not going to be able to hit the shots. 45 seconds remaining on the clock. Shots coming in from Shotzzy from this top window. Aqua's going to be able to take down Crimsix, so now it's going to be a 3v3, and the bomb is going down at this A site.
You see Shotzzy just wants to make sure, wants to double check. And we've got ourselves a 3 versus 3. Paris, opportunity for the retake. They're sitting 2 on the flank, Scraps from the front. And really, when you start to look at these arrows begin to move around for Paris, you'll kind of gauge a little bit of an idea for the conversation, for the call-out. Scraps saying everything looks clear on the site. On the other end, Classic takes a few shots, trying to keep everybody inside of this top building. And Classic, that's a huge first blood for him, as now they'll start to bring everybody closer together. But Shotzzy inside of the lockers now leaves it all on to Classic. Both are going to be there for the trade. I think we may have seen a slight team kill, but it's going to be the Dallas Empire securing their first round. But regardless, Standy, it took a lot out of them to get it done.
Yeah, it definitely did, man. You saw that iLLeY opened up the first blood onto fire on the flank, that had all the players from the Paris Legion decide to wrap back towards B and eventually try to set up a pinch. Gave the free bomb plant to Shotzzy, and they just hold it down. 2 sub players in those locker rooms get the job done. So now the Empire are down 1-3. Like I said, they're going into another defensive round. So far, they've been really aggressive towards the middle of the map, just trying to take map control from the Paris Legion, but they have read it perfectly every single time. So the Empire are going to have a totally different setup this time. Huke's going to be pushing that middle train. He's going to have an engagement nice and early. He's going to back down, though. So they see that number 3 player in iLLeY. He's trying to watch the mid tracks for Huke as this bomb is starting to approach this A site. It's looking like bomb is going to be planted for the Paris Legion. Has to be a 4v4 retake from the Empire.
You see Legion, they're not wanting to give any information away. Just back on up and say, all right, time for the Empire to try and engage upon us. On this bomb site, it is harder for the defense to retake. There is no doubt about it. But take a look at Scraps. He's found himself in a great spot. There's 1. There's 2. How about 3 for Matty Marshall as the Legion dominating here on Express. We'll get to watch this one again. And it is a field day for Scraps. Sees all 3. Legion, they combined for 4 straight in a matter of 4 seconds. And they are now up 4 rounds to 1. Standy, this is not looking like the 10th best team in Search and Destroy, as clearly Express expanding their map pool and expanding their chances at bringing this series ever closer.
Yeah, they've won every single one of their offenses so far. You see with the Dallas Empire, they're sick and tired of it. It's time to be aggressive. Fortunately, Aqua's going to open up with the first blood, Aqua with the second, Shotzzy with the third. So now it's going to be a 2v2 situation. See, Shotzzy trying to play his life. He's almost able to take down the second, but that round went so fast. Crimsix got the last kill, and now the Dallas Empire are down 2-4. I couldn't even keep up with that one, Lando.
It's hard, man. It's hard, especially over at this site. You got somewhere the engagement's happening. Imagine this is 5v5. Oh, boy. That would not be easy. That'd be rough. But hey, I'll tell you what, man. This this site, this portion of the map, the way a few of these rounds are going, it looks like that from time to time. But hey, again, if you're Empire, putting yourselves in a much better spot to possibly bring this one back. Again, not a performance that they'd like to replicate, at least to start off. But it's, hey, it's not how you start, it's how you finish at the end of the day. Swing round coming in from Dallas, as we'll get to take a look at another offense for them. Excuse me, another offense for Paris, another defense opportunity for Empire. The early shots coming in from Aqua, but nothing landing as of yet.
And iLLeY's going to open up with the first blood. You see what the Dallas Empire players did as well. They took control of that A bomb site. So now they gained all that information, and the B push has to be coming in from the Paris Legion. The bomb is going to start getting planted from Classic. It is going to be a 3v4 situation. You see Crimsix slow peeking from the staircase, able to take down one. Going for the second challenge on the fire. He's going to drop. Last player alive is going to be Aqua in the elevator room. This is basically an impossible task to get done. Crimsix with the hat trick on the round, able to take down 3 and pick up the defuse. Good defensive round right there out of the Empire.
Yeah, great stuff coming in from Dallas, and really in that Game 5 victory over Seattle, right? The Surge are really in a situation where it looks like, hey, this could be their opportunity for the reverse sweep. Empire, they cleaned it up here on Express, and it was Crimsix who dropped 15 kills. A very slow start to the search and destroy, but again, Crim, back in the day, this was his map. A number of different highlights from him, and back just a few years later, not too many years later, don't want to age anybody too much, but he knows this map quite well, giving some good life to Dallas as they inch closer to trying to bring this one to a level heading.
So now they're down 3-4. That's 2 rounds straight for the Empire. Let's see what they decide to do on their offense. Are they going to be aggressive towards B once again? It's looking like that's exactly what's going to happen. 4 are going to go down towards the B tunnel. A couple shots, pre-fire coming in from Aqua. It's not able to take down any players, but so far this is full control of this B bomb site for the Empire. They should be able to get this bomb down with ease and eventually try to play the hold for the Paris Legion players, but number 3 is going to have his hands full. iLLeY knows that there's 2 players pushing around the backside. It's going to be Classic and Fire. Bomb is eventually going to be planted, so it's going to be a 4v4 retake now. Can the Empire hold and try to win this round?
Well, that's a great pick, a great double coming through from Nicky D. We talked about his plays on the flank. Dallas, they were aware of it, but they cannot handle the frenzy. But here comes Shotzzy. Again, time's starting to tick away. Tries to get the player off the defuse. Mission accomplished, but again, when you've got 4 Legion players staring you down and being aware of your position, it is never going to be easy as Legion finding their 5th round and looking quite well, as again, it's all Classic in this one.
Yeah, and iLLeY was the player from the Empire who was holding that flank side. Did he give the information to his teammates that 2 players are pushing on the back, or did he just get terrible COD timing right there and eventually Classic works her on the backside? Obviously, Huke and Crimsix did not have any awareness that he was coming from that position. That was a great play from Classic. We were talking about it in the beginning of this map. He needs to be the playmaker, specifically in search and destroy, for this team to stand a chance. And so far, he's getting the job done. They're 1 round away from closing out this map number 2, potentially tying up the series. Some early shots coming in from Crimsix onto Scraps, not able to take him down. Shotzzy knows that there's going to be a player at this B bomb site. But does Huke check his corner? Huke does not check his corner. Classic's able to open up the first blood.
Another first blood. At a Classic at one point actually was tied in first blood percentage in the entire CDL. And there's the other SMG. Fire bringing Dallas down to just 2. iLLeY and Shotzzy, the 2 players who have not been great so far in search and destroy. Can they be the catalyst to keep this game going? Again, on the defense, if they can find a pick, makes their life that much more easy. But Scraps making the right play, trying to get out of dodge. But is he going to be able to escape? It looks as if he does just get right around the hallway. So Shotzzy and iLLeY will rejoin now here at the tracks. But there goes iLLeY. Shotzzy now all by himself. It would be a 1 versus 3. 30 seconds on the clock. We know this guy's got the movement, but unfortunately for him, this is going to be the Paris Legion responding in the search and destroy. We felt pretty ill about them after that opening hard point, but they fire back in the S&D and now bring us to a 1-1 series. What a performance there out of Paris all game long.
Yeah, Paris Legion just took that map to the Dallas Empire, man. They started off hot. in the beginning of that map. They went up 3 early rounds. Eventually, they closed out the map in a 6-3 fashion. But it was just all on the individual plays. You saw Scraps right there. He got spotted on the flank. He gets to his teammates, just plays it correctly. You can tell these guys are communicating in that game mode, and it's starting to be one of those game modes that can really push them over that hump. As we talk about it, this team is really good at hardpoint. Those search and destroys was what's been holding this team back from their true potential. They get the job done there. Now it's a tied series at 1-1.
Yeah, that's kind of like what kind of been one of the modes that a lot of people early on were talking about for the Legion, saying, hey, you know, we're kind of surprised, right, that they're not exactly the search and destroy team that we thought they were. They're actually more of a respawn team. But I know kind of in our keys to victory, you and I, we were kind of going over the series yesterday and kind of highlighting a few things. Talk about how, hey, you know what, if the Legion can kind of improve in their search and destroys, this could be a totally different team. If they can kind of make those search and destroys a primary game mode for them, that's that consistency that they really, really are going to need. We're going to take a look at our U.S. Army tactical play. This one coming in for round number 5. As Study, but again, one of the many plays that Legion were able to make. Classic getting the bomb down. I feel like he was so important throughout this game, really from the first bloods to that objective.
Yeah, so once Classic gets that bomb down, the positioning from Scraps, he was all the way basically not even playing in his spawn, but as soon as that bomb goes down, he commits to the full flank and eventually sets up the 3-piece from this top balcony area. You could just tell, like I said, the communication for Paris Legion is all there. Scraps definitely knew what his team was doing, and that's why the opening was there for him to open up with that hat trick and get the 3-piece to close that round. Communication for the Paris Legion has to be there. Now we have a series tied 1-1.
Yeah, we talked about, these new maps like Apocalypse, like Express, potentially kind of opening up the map pools for a lot of different teams, maybe the Legion included in that. Legion, they answer back in the search and destroy. We've got Control on raid up right after this.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
Snapbacks, strapbacks, and knits, get ready to rep your squad with the all-new CDL headwear collection available exclusively at Mitchell and Ness. Obviously, you can shop there, study. Look at those, man. Look at those hats. Those things are looking great. Maybe some of the very same hats that we're seeing players rock in the actual game themselves. But no cap in this one, my friend. Legion looking great in that search and destroy. But now we come into this control where things start to get a little dicey. Primarily with iLLeY, right? He has not had the greatest performance in the controls for the Empire. There was a lot of hype coming on him into the season, but in this one in particular, it has not been so fair to him. 43rd in Search and Destroy and 39th in Control.
Yeah, the one that really surprises me here is the Search and Destroy. Where iLLeY comes from, he's a search and destroy player through and through. So when you talk about a 0.8, that's not what you expect a player from his caliber. So I'm expecting him to step up in that game mode. But we're going into a control, like you said, 0.89. And so far, the Dallas Empire in their last 6 controls, they've lost 4 and they've only won 2. So they're gonna have to they're gonna have to go big, especially on a map like this. And he's gonna have to play well, because on the opposite side, the Paris Legion have 2 of the top 6 KDs, and they're both the assault rifle players. It's gonna be Aqua and Scrap. So him and Crimsix need to have a performance here on this map number 3.
Yeah, we'll kind of look right in terms of the way that Control has lined up for both these teams. Legion much more comfortable in this mode. You're looking at the KD, and you're also looking at that attack and defensive rounds. Again, it's attack, really offensive rounds and search and destroy weren't great for the Legion. They're able to fire back. Now here in Control, we'll see how they start to fare off. Again, both these teams at times have looked great. Legion's trying to add kind of this mode to their repertoire as well, and Empire sitting quite nicely at 6-5 overall. Again, this should definitely be a battle coming into Raid, and I know we've been talking about a lot of different stats, as we'll actually have Raid respawns and back-to-back ones here. But Raid was a 3-0 victory, I think, versus the Røkkr the other day, or at least it was a solid victory for them on this map and mode combination. Come into yesterday, or rather the other day, versus Chicago, and they get 3-0'd on Raid Control as well. Now again, that is versus the best Control team at that exact map and mode combination, so where do you kind of really go there with comparisons, especially with the way that Røkkr looked? But Legion, they have the reps on this, and again, you give them the opportunity, especially with guys like Aqua and Scraps, they've got a good chance. I think we've been talking a lot in these respawn studies. Fire, I think he kind of has to be that third guy for them to really kind of push it the distance. If they want to see that game 5 guaranteed, I think you're looking at the rookie to get it done. How about you?
Yeah, I'm looking at the rookie as well, man. Especially the way that Paris Legion played this versus Minnesota last time. They would take that beat point nice and early. So if the Dallas Empire are able to give that up that easy, then Paris Legion are going to be feeling a lot more comfortable on this map. But like I said, man, we're looking at iLLeY, we're looking at Crimsix to match the players on the opposite side at Scraps and Aqua. Well, once again, top 6 in overall KDs in this game mode.
Cannot be under stressed. Again, that HUD, oh so helpful. Now here in some good old Control. Again, Lions remaining, defend and attacking now labeled. Just shout out to everybody. Doing such a wonderful job, improving the broadcast day after day. And improving are the Legion as well, making a great case here early on at this 8 point. They are 2 ticks in, but we are really just mere seconds into this Control. Really based off of that, I was going to say, can Empire start to break in? My question is answered for me. 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Empire already down by 4 in lives. Great start for Paris as they're looking to gain some control through the back spawns.
Yeah, you see that number 8 player. He's going to be the only player left on this backside. Fire is unfortunately going to drop that gunfight to Huke. Huke went huge right there on that back jungle to be able to take out both players in Classic and Fire. So now it's going to slow down and push from the Paris Legion. 2 minutes on the clock. Paris Legion do have a 3 live advantage. Now make it 4 with Classic opening with that one. But if you're the Empire, you just try to hold as long as you can. 2 players are going to drop now for Paris. There goes the third. 4 now are going to go down now for the Paris Legion. So now it's going to give the opportunity for the Empire to try to push up and gain more map control.
If you're Paris, how do you want to get a different look at this, right? You've been shut down constantly. How do you try to break out of this setup right now?
If you're Paris, you just want to hit around the ring side. But you see that number 6 player, he's already going to be pushing around that by himself. He's just waiting for his teammates to get to him. It's all around working around the backside and focusing those players in bedroom that have to force themselves to turn around and eventually fight them from that angle, forcing the players that come off spawn to spawn back laundry. But you see Classic, he's just taking his time around the backside, waiting for his teammates to push through kitchen. That number 1 player in Shotzzy's in a great corner. He's going to be able to take down one, but Scraps is able to trade. So now they're going to have 2 players in this kitchen area, 1 player around the backside. That's going to spawn Shotzzy all the way at laundry. Shotzzy not deciding to wrap back. He's going to push straight through the art and try to cut off this player in number 8, which is going to be Fire. He's going to be able to do that. So now the Empire basically have flipped the sides for the Paris Legion. They're on offense now, and the Legion are on defense. What can we do?
And really, if you're Crim, you're just going to turn around and be like, hey guys, how's it going? How are things? Now some good old neighbors. I would prefer to be in the mansion myself, right? In comparison to the kitchen, but how about Classic? Chilling over by the hot tub at the Tiki. Unfortunately, he will have a short stay. 25 seconds left. It was all Legion over at that 8 point, and Really nothing to speak of as of yet over at B. But again, for the defense, if you're Empire, you cannot afford to go down 4 straight. Really, you play your life, and you're going to be in a good situation. Huke now toward the pool stairs as he gets met with a few. Shotzzy really having to watch Paris Legion make their way onto the point, but they're running right into the blender. Crim inside of that money window. Portion all doing some wonderful stuff as Shotzzy now toward the top side, and that will be an early defensive lockdown coming through from Dallas. And what, Sonny, it was kind of 2 minutes and 20 seconds live count in favor of Paris. That is just a very well coordinated and hold coming in from Dallas, because we talk about constantly over at this point how easy it is to go 4 down. And despite this highlight play coming in from Aqua, Empire, they're able to hold up.
Yeah, they were able to hold that well, even with the players from Paris Legion pushing on the backside. All the players that were pushed up in that bedroom area were winning all their engagements, and they were just slowing down the players from Paris Legion every time they had the chance to. And now you're going to see the Empire going in on their offense. So it looks like they're going to try to commit towards this 8-point. Aqua with some early shots on the Shotzzy, not able to eliminate him. The Empire just trying to spot a couple players. iLLeY's going to drop to Aqua now. So this is going to slow down the push. Shotzzy's going to go for the trade. Crimsix with the second. So now this is an opening for this B point. Crimsix has the awareness that his player is going to be sitting top water steps. It's looking like he's going to commit towards this challenge as well. Unfortunately, his teammate's going to drop to Classic now.
And really, on these defenses on Raid, it can be a headache from time to time. Let's go ahead and get into the communication for the Paris Legion with our Astro listening.
What's happening?
Nice, that was him. Pretty sure there's one on the top. I got needed.
Yo, can you get my Z? I'm coming on top of the rock. I'm coming on top of the rock.
Yeah, I'll get it. He's top launcher. I'm pushing out bed.
Ring.
I'm on the
Two ring on me.
One zig. I'm at the. Yo, can someone film bed? I'm about to pinch this.
Yeah.
I'm holding a pusher right now. I'll pinch it.
Still there.
I'm laid on for mid.
I give it.
Nice,
There's another one.
nice. I'll spawn behind you.
Yep. I need to.
I can't push bedroom. I'm looking at water stairs
Yeah,
cross.
I need one to go up in water. I have aBeZy.
Look at water stairs cross.
Spray me job right now.
Bottom bed, cross. Bottom bed.
Got him on bed. Crim.
A much slower start really to that comm session, but you see right when Legion, they're able to kind of get some information. They get that 3 and 4 down. You just hear the comms instantly saying, hey, all right, they're spawning here. Let's try to make this rotation here. Let's try to make the plays. Legion rebounding well. Scraps holding down this angle, not allowing for anybody to make their way through that top mansion position. Fire sitting at 2 and 10 as well in a great spot. Again, has not had the greatest performance, but it all comes down to this final minute as Dallas Empire look to engage.
They're just losing every single gunfight, man, and it all happened when we were in that listening. You heard Classic say he was pushed up in bedroom, and eventually he wants to set up a pitch, so someone needs to fill that gap to cancel that spawn. He was eventually able to get 3 down, and now this is exactly what the Dallas Empire are now. Ever since that play has happened, they have been trapped. They're down 5 lives. Finally, they're able to push up towards this B point. 2 are going to drop once again for the Empire. Huke's trying to do everything he can from Tiki, but he's going to drop. 30 seconds remaining on this clock. Legion have a 7 live advantage. All they have to do is hold for 1 more push, and they'll be able to walk away with this defensive round.
Yeah, this should definitely be theirs. They like their chances. So does Shotzzy. Shotzzy likes the team's chances as well. Tries to go for the quick engagement on the Classic, but with Crim falling, few players start to line out for Huke, and that's going to be a big one. 5 seconds left. Can anybody from the Dallas Empire join alongside the nuke? Shotzzy getting some work done inside of the kitchen, but it's all for naught. Consolation kills at best as the Legion hold on to their defense as well.
Just a great hold. Once again, it all came out of that play from Classic. If he doesn't make that play, Dallas Empire still have map control, and they have the potential to work towards this B point. See Huke right here in the best play, just trying to do everything he can to work towards that. Picks up 3 kills, but eventually he drops. That was just a good hold right there out of the Legion. Winning their defensive rounds is exactly what they need to do. Get the job done there. So now they're going to go into another offensive push. They decide to go nice and early towards that B point. It's looking like they're committing towards A once again. Basically had their first offense in the bag. They just let the Dallas Empire just get fully set up, and eventually all the kills went in their favor. But here comes Aqua, able to open up with 2. So now some ticks are starting to go in at this 8 point.
You got Aqua set up the way that he is. It is just a terrifying sight. Doesn't matter what team you are. That's going to be 3 straight. Shotzzy realizing his position is starting to be made known, as that's going to be 4 down for Dallas. A cap going in just like it did in that first round. So Crim takes down Aqua off the streak, takes down Scraps as well. But again, if you're Paris, this is the same situation that we saw in round number 1, right? They instantly make their presence felt inside of A. Really, they have like, what, 2 minutes and 20 seconds in that first round, not able to get it done. Now here, in their second opportunity, we'll see if they can make better on it this time around.
Yeah, they're taking the time, trying to go around backside laundry. See that number 7 player just waiting for his teammate. Try to give him some information before he crosses. There's going to be a player in this money window, which is going to be Shotzzy. Classic not able to walk away with that one, but here comes Scraps with the trade. One player is going to be in this basketball area. If they can get this guy down, they can open up the push, but Crimsix able to win that one. So now there's going to be 2 players from the Paris Legion on both sides of the map. See Shotzzy trying to push around this P5 area. He's going to drop, so that's going to be 2 down now. They know that both players from the Dallas Empire are going to be pushed up towards bedroom. One player now is going to hop this B point. Aqua going to win a big gunfight onto Crimsix. There's only going to be 1 player left in this situation. It's going to be Huke. Huke has to try to play his life, try to win the engagements, but he's going to drop the classic. So now this is the opening that the Paris Legion need.
But here comes Shotzzy. Here comes Shotzzy from the skies. In Paris, they have to dip out. They will survive the explosive attack from above. As iLLeY coming in from the basketball court. Shotzzy, meanwhile, on the flank. Here comes the pinch, and Classic's position is revealed. And that is going to totally destroy this push. Coming in from the Legion, a good opportunity. The streak sets them up. And really based off of that, Legion, they get themselves in a few spots where Dallas are able to go for the flank. And now Huke making some work happen through middle. Goes for the shot and puts an elbow in between Legion. Again, they've got a tick to work with, 40 seconds. But are we going to see them lose another offense where they're in such a great spot early over at this A point? And Aqua, he falls, and Huke now sitting on 5. Fire drops. Classic goes down. And Dallas continue to hold on these defenses. It got scary there for a moment, Study, but Empire, their teamwork, their backs are against the wall. They are holding well and looking good coming into this next round.
Yeah, and Huke is on a 6 spree as well. He should be able to earn himself some streaks if he's able to get 1 kill on that next round. But once again, man, it just comes down to Shotzzy using that artillery strike to get him off that point. Then he makes the heads-up play, flanks bedroom, and eventually gets the clearance on that B point for his team. They just keep on making the plays, man. It was classic for Paris, and now this time Shotzzy. You're going to see both plays. The best play right there out of Crimsix, able to eliminate 3 players. But that was just another great hold out of the Empire there. They almost let that one go when they dropped 3. But once again, Shotzzy going huge with that artillery strike as well, won them that round. Looking on the opposite side, though, Paris Legion, you see Fire, 6 and 18. We talked about it before this map started. He needs to have a performance to at least match the energy of Scraps and Aqua, who are having a great game so far. They need to try to come back on this defensive round, and it's looking like the Dallas Empire just trying to flood straight through kitchen, trying to work for this B point nice and early.
They're going to try to give themselves a different look, and Legion tries to manage it. Scraps, he goes down despite the recent engagement. Huke falls instantly to the base. Legion go. A great look for Paris, despite what was kind of a curveball tossed at them off the start. And with Huke falling, it's not earned that streak. Really kind of one of the primary points looking throughout the remainder of this control was, can Huke grab it? Can they grab that B point early? Well, they're going to continue to force the issue over at B. And Scraps now hanging out over at the basketball court is going to be looking for a pick. That's Classic, who finds 2. There's 3. Make it 4 down for Dallas. Legion, again, it's really been defenses so far throughout this control. I mean, what, at times on raid, you see offense look great. You have some more opportunities in comparison to like a Checkmate or a Garrison. Both teams have played this one out so well. 25 seconds. Can Dallas get to that B point in time? As here comes Huke trying to clear things out for the teammates. And that could be the opening they need.
And that's going to be 2 down now on the side of both players. So Paris Legion are able to fight this, try to keep the players from the Empire off this point. It's going to spawn all the Empire players at the safe site. The only player here to try to keep him off is going to be Classic. He's just trying to play his life. Huke does use that artillery for ping. So all that information to where these other players can be located has come in for his team. Second tick comes into A. They should be able to extend this time by an extra minute. The only thing is, they are down 4 lives, and the Paris Legion are pushed up all the way past bedroom.
Okay, I'm an idiot. I didn't think that Huke actually earned the streak, so my apologies for that. Huke definitely earned the streak. They will grab A, and now they've got themselves another minute, another lifeline for sending us to that round 5. Some cheeky plays trying to be made from Shotzzy over a jungle, but he falls. Fire trying to heat up over at these water stairs. Does overall get the ending trade. Paris up by 4 lives. 40 seconds left. You got yourself 1, maybe 2 good pushes here from Dallas as they'll look to try and rebound. But Crim, with an accidental nade onto Shotzzy, will clearly actually slow things up.
Yeah, it's definitely not what you want to get done if you're Crimsix right there. Team kill is going to slow down the push from the Empire, but you're going to see 3 players pushing through Kitchen. Aqua's going to be able to win the first engagement. A nade's coming in. He's trying to do everything he can to finesse, but he's going to drop the Shotzzy. Now Scraps is on this point. He's going to drop to iLLeY. 3 are going to drop now for Paris Legion. Classic's going to be the only player in a position to try to keep these guys off this point. He's going to drop to Huke, so now this might be the opening for the Dallas Empire, but Huke's going to drop in Kitchen. You see Aqua winning huge engagements in that Kitchen area. Fire with 2. Only player on this point now is going to be Crimsix, getting swarmed by the Paris Legion players, and that's going to be another defensive hold from the Paris Legion.
Another defensive hold, what we've seen 4 of them, and now coming into this final round, it really kind of comes down who's going to be on that offense, right? I think Legion, they're up by a decent amount of lives after this round. I don't know if you've been counting study, but I know we've seen a few dominant rounds here or there, but really based off that last one, that could have given Legion the edge. Again, my math today has not been on point whatsoever. So when it comes down to me, you really just don't really know. But Dallas on to the offense. I've yet to see anybody win one so far. See what their look is going to be off the rip here. A huge round for both of these teams. Again, if you're Legion, you're guaranteeing that Game 5 put on a performance, but it's going to be some nice shots early out of the Empire. Scraps responds well with that mid-control. Empire, 1 tick through, now over at A.
Yeah, you see what the Empire are doing completely different this time. They're just trying to extend that clock. You know that they have to work for that beat point a little later than expected. Shotzzy was able to have been a big engagement on that beach side, but he's going to drop now to Classic. But here comes the taking at A. We're going to have 2 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock. The Empire currently have a 3 live advantage as well. You're going to see 2 players pushing around back laundry. And a player trying to get through Kitchen. They're trying to set up this pinch as best as they can. And here we go. Here goes the push. Player's going to slide across. Crim's going to be able to win the first. Scraps is going to be the only player in a position to try to shut this down. He's eventually going to take 2 down with him. So that's going to spawn both of those players towards back laundry. Huke has read this perfectly. Unfortunately, he's going to drop to Aqua. Shotzzy there for the trade. But they have to just worry about these guys at bedroom. And Crimsix going to wrap back and able to take down Classic. There's only going to be 1 player in that position to try to slow this down. It's going to be Fire. He's going to win the first engagement. But now some time is going to go in favor of the Empire. But Fire is winning every single engagement at this bedroom alley to just slow down the push from the Empire.
Shotzzy, he's been alive for such a long time. That's 4. Constantly having a lifeline. The Empire were trying to send anybody they can towards Shotzzy's positioning, and really based off of that play, it is going to give Empire the opening that they have been waiting for. Huke's going to go and call in the streaks. Takes down Classic for 1. That's pretty much half of the way there. 20 to 13. They're favored in the lives. Can the Legion wipe him off of the point? Scraps, who's been so great in this game, is not going to have any teammate support. That's going to be 3 down. Make it 4. 4 straight in the feed as Huke continues to be a menace over at the point. And good night to Paris as Empire winning the first offensive round in our control. And it just so happens to be the last one. But such major plays here in the clutch out of the Empire. And I feel like clutch has been their middle name so far throughout this season study. Their record and kind of these clutch situations in Game 5s and Round 11s, they've been excellent. And here in this round 5 on Control, they get it done as well.
Yeah, they get the job done, man. It was all on Shotzzy. He was that player that was pushing around that back kitchen area. You saw him in that, basically the last engagement of the game, where he won that 2-piece around that basketball court, and eventually opens it up for his teammates to get in. Once Huke got in that point, they drop 4 down. He saves that artillery strike for a perfect timing, streaks out the top balcony, streaks out basketball, and eventually they get another 4 dead. Greatly executed offensive round right there out of the Empire to take that map.
Yeah, like I said, it was just, they were constantly sending like players, like little lifelines almost for Shotzzy
Scoring
to
around
try
the
and
back.
hold on to, but oh man.
Yeah.
What was it? What is it, Stud?
It was a go around the back, man.
It was.
He was just going.
It was, man.
He was just running, man.
He was. Could not be stopped. Great performance coming out of Shotzzy, leading the lobby for at least his team, 31 and 26 on the other end. Scraps really did all he could, right? 35 and 25, 7K damage out of young Manny Marshall, but also one kind of outlier. We said coming into this Control, they kind of need to have that 3-headed beast, right? If you are the Legion, fire a forgettable performance now coming into this next hard point.
Yeah, man, and then he needs to be able to bring it back in this raid hardpoint. We saw them play versus Minnesota. It went down to basically 250 to 200, so they have the ability to get this job done on this map number 4 and push it to a map number 5.
Yeah, and we talk about raid respawns at times have not treated Paris oh so kindly. Who knows? Maybe again, this could be another opportunity for them. Dallas finding themselves up 2-1. It is hardpoint on raid when we come back after this quick break.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
Welcome back, folks, to the Call of Duty League. It is Stage 2, Week 2, in the midst of a great series between the Empire versus the Legion. Let's go and talk some Shotzzy, my good man. Of course, Lano and Study on the call. Stud, I mean, what? Shotzzy, his numbers so far really kind of throughout the season haven't been maybe necessarily what you'd expect out of an Astro MVP last year, but he has been great so far throughout this series. It is something to kind of keep track of, something to kind of keep note of. What has kind of been your thoughts on Shotzzy just so far throughout this series in comparison to what has been a little bit of a different season for him?
I feel like Shotzzy is still playing a really good role for his team. It's just the only thing is his counterpart in Huke is having that MVP kind of performance throughout this year so far. I'm pretty sure Huke is sitting number 3 overall in hardpoint KD. So Shotzzy, he's just doing what he has to do for his counterpart in Huke. But like you said, man, he was an MVP last year of the season, and we expect better from him. And we've seen him in that last map just making play after play after play when his team needs him to the most. It's just hard, man. It's just hard when you have this guy sitting right next to you, man, who's just, for me, I feel like Huke is the best player in the game, so it's kind of hard for Shotzzy to keep up with him, but they're a great 1-2 punch.
That's for sure, man. There's no doubt about it. That 1-2 punch in the SMG kind of category has been great so far for the Empire, and I think it was kind of last year at one point. I think it was like after the London home series or maybe the LA home series last season for Empire. Of course, it's a totally different time, right? We're talking about 5v5, we're talking about MW, but it was kind of one of those situations where Huke, in the middle of kind of getting the rookies introduced, that being Shotzzy and iLLeY, kind of takes more of an objective role to allow for Shotzzy to kind of be that playmaker. And then from there, we saw his ability, the way that he was able to take over games. And who knows, maybe kind of in this atmosphere, Shotzzy said, you know what, man, I'm going to repay you back the favor. Now is your time to shine. Huke has said it constantly in a number of different interviews, how he loves this game, right? He is grinding this game. And I got to say, Huke, in my eyes, is playing his best Call of Duty that we have ever seen. Like, we talk about aBeZy, like the legendary young 14, 15-year-old phenom. He is playing his best COD right now, and it has been a sight to see.
Yeah, he definitely has been, man. And it's definitely showing across the board for his roster. 2 now are going to drop for Aqua. He's able to take down 2 players. Crimsix doing everything he can from this top laundry window. But the early time is going in favor of the Paris Legion. Aqua, once again, doing everything he can with that assault rifle. I'm pretty sure that's 4 to the guy's name. Eventually, he's going to drop the Crimsix, but early time now is going to go in favor of the Legion.
I think the butt of the gun maybe didn't allow for Crim to see that one player who was on the floor. I think that might have been Scrap. So definitely an interesting start. Legion, you're happy with the beginning of this. Why? Because you're getting the time, and you're also setting up Scraps on the streak. Just narrowly makes his way through the pillars, as it has been all Legion to start. But again, that Money Hill coming up or Kitchen. Dallas Empire, first player to really kind of hold down what is this fortress is going to be Crim. He falls, but it's Huke there on the return. iLLeY taking down players in basketball court. They're locking this one up and hopefully setting themselves up for a good return as they are down quite a bit.
Yeah, and you're going to see iLLeY trying to hold down the backside for his teammates. You see a couple players from Paris Legion trying to push around basketball court. Classic's going to open up with 1, so they're trying to play for this back spawn. Shotzzy trying to do everything he can from money window, but he's going to drop. So it's going to be 2 players left in this point. It's going to be Huke and Crimsix. Crimsix going to be able to win the first. Scraps is going to go for the trade. But so far, the Dallas Empire are trying to hold this to the best of their ability. 3 now are going to drop for the Paris Legion. 25 seconds should go uncontested to the Empire. But now they're starting to think about that rotation. They're going to spawn 2 players from Paris Legion at the back of Kitchen. Paris Legion look like they're not trying to contest this. They're trying to play the rotation. Trying to have the numbers on their side. See those 2 players from the Empire pushing through Zig, trying to get through control of Art, but you see that number 8 player in Fire trying to set up the pinch.
Fire's trying to set up the pinch. Aqua, meanwhile, they've been trying to find Shotzzy for pretty much the last 30 seconds. Out of sight, out of mind. As the Legion now in prime control over Garage. It was a nice start for Empire. They had a few good plays, but it is so hard to set up that P2 to P3 rotation, especially when you've got that great teamwork. But to the end of the weights we go. How strong can the Dallas Empire start to prevail as it's Huke again on this 5 spree? The nade is what's overall going to take him down, but based off of presence alone, it is the Dallas Empire taking control. Crim sitting right at home inside of the garage, takes a look over at the Porsche, and again, Empire, they are sitting great, break inside of the hill, now have themselves in a good spot to take a sizable lead coming in to our next rotation.
Yeah, so I'm looking at, some stats here from my guy, Tyler. Shout out to that, man. So far, so the Dallas Empire, their good hard points are P1, P2, and P3. If you're the Paris Legion, your strong ones are going to be P4 and P5. So that's why you see them early rotate towards this P4 hard point, trying to get fully set up to fight themselves back into this game. 2 players are going to drop now for the Empire. Aqua with 2. iLLeY's going to go for the trade. But so far, time is going in favor of the Paris Legion. You're going to see 2 players from the Empire trying to push around the backside. iLLeY's going to open up with the first blood. So now this is going to be the pinch they need. 2 players are going to drop now for the Legion. Only player alive in this point is going to be Fire. He's going to drop. And just like that, the Empire break in with ease.
Yeah, the Empire breaking in pretty much the same way they did on Garrison, right? That teamwork, that coordination is on point out of the defending world champions. Let's go to an Astro listening now with the Dallas Empire.
Front.
Give me middle.
Front and yo, enter, I'm challenging. Looking water steps. I don't see any top pool.
Look over me. Bottom Nick. Bottom pool Nick. One shot. Push it.
Where's he going?
Let's go around water.
Yo, he's water steps, Nick.
Yeah,
iLLeY one shot old. iLLeY one shot old too.
What you do?
Yeah.
Water steps, right? Help me. Here, what you call it? Dead. Good shit, baby.
One is One is he? Get your
I got him. Let's go.
Yo,
I'm on shot.
You close.
Close.
Yo, he's red car holding. Sit down.
I'm watching Z.
I'm flooding from kitchen.
They pulled me, one shot.
Sit down.
I got the one.
Good job. We're missing
He's weak. He went hard. He went circle. I'm going for it.
No, sit down.
I got time.
Yeah, no, they're gonna be here. Top. White man weak. Nick.
Hold water.
He's in circle. I'm giving up pillars. I'm giving up pillars.
One is about to pull me.
Yeah, hold on. Yo, who's ever in hill, look pillars. Yeah, look
Z.
pillars.
Yo, Z hurt.
I flashed on Z.
One about to pull me.
Wait, one more pillars. One, weak.
Got him.
Nice, good job.
Go right. Go.
He's ready.
Go.
He's ready.
I got time. You guys go. Keep going.
Oh,
One bullet on the left.
Oh my god.
I'm watching. I can't go.
Really, kind of throughout those comm sessions, Standy, one thing that I kind of took was kind of the general, right? Crimsix kind of taking control, great coordination in the middle of what is normally a very scrappy hard point. Just great awareness from Dallas, and a lot of that, of course, is clearly through those comms.
Yeah, definitely through those comms. You heard Crimsix. Make sure someone picks up pillars. Make sure someone's watching their Zig. The communication was just there for the Empire, and now they're starting to open this game wide open. If you're the Paris Legion, you have yet to get a good hold on any of these hard points yet. The most time that they've gotten so far has been off this P1 hard point, and they are trying to stay consistent with this one at least. 35 seconds remaining on this clock. Let's see the Empire starting to rotate a little bit, trying to make sure they keep those spawns for P2. But so far, all this time is going in favor of the Legion. 20 seconds going to be remaining on this clock. They're only going to be down about 46 points. If they're able to win these engagements, they have to try to break in this early because last time the Empire held this pretty well.
They did. It did indeed. Classic. Will be the first one in, and Aqua. Oof. A nice shot there on the Crim, but he's got a lot more work to do. Again, that's 4 straight coming in from Paris' primary man. 5 in a row. Did he clear it out enough? And just as we talk about all the progress that Aqua really makes on the flank, it is a huge double coming in from Huke. Some solid coordination overall for the Empire as they're going to reach that double century mark inside of the kitchen, as this is where the game can start to break open and the Legion start to fire away. No pun intended, as the rookie, the first one called into the action, but it's Shotzzy. That's going to be 2 straight for him. Huke over at the fire window. Everybody watching each other's backs as Dallas in a great spot looking to close out this game. As now we set up for that rotation, and really, when they shut down Crim, you will see some interesting spawns if players continue to be where they are. Again, current player count in favor of the Legion, but nice shots coming in out of Crimsix. Unfortunately, Shotzzy dies by his own nade. There could be somewhat of a lifeline granted for Paris, not one they expected, but one they get regardless. Fire over at the vents, he wins the fight, and they have to get every second here, Standy.
Yeah, the Paris Legion so far, they have to try to fight back with this P3 hardpoint. They're only down about 60 points. If they're able to at least get 40 to 50 seconds on this and play the rotation, they should be able to fight back in this game. But iLLeY's going to try to play spoiler. Opens up with 2 kills from that front side. 2 are going to drop now. It's going to be Huke in a one-on-one. He's going to eliminate fire. But like I said, Paris Legion are fully set up. They should be able to get this remaining 25 seconds. And the Empire are just going to try to set up for Basketball Hill nice and early. See that number 1 player who's going to be sitting back jungle, just playing a rotation, trying to close out this game is the Empire.
Legion will bring it closer, but again, over at basketball courts, Dallas, they're going to try to spread themselves out somewhat significantly throughout the middle portion of the map, just trying to distance that Legion as much as they can. But if you're Paris, can't wait too long, right? You can't wait too much farther, as there's another double coming in from Huke, and that very well may seal the deal for Dallas. Krem wins the fight over at Scraps. And now it's just time starting to tick away. Can Paris get here? Can anybody make somewhat of an impact play? Classic, a nice opportunity, but Shotzzy's there for the trade. Huke the nuke, they're searching, they're finding, they're killing, and it's Dallas who cleans up the HP when in back-to-back raid respawns. Takes down what is a very crafty Paris lineup and improve their record now to 2-0 here in their group.
Man, the Empire just played that beautifully, man. Those P2 hardpoints, they basically held every single one of those. And like the powerful hardpoints for the Paris Legion, when they were early set up, the Dallas Empire were just breaking in with ease, man. And that was the opening. For the very first rotation of hardpoints, Paris was set up early on that basketball court. They get broke within the first 15 seconds. Then they set up for early on P5, and they get broke in the first 20 seconds. And if you're the Paris Legion, that was your fight back in this game. They tried to do it at the very end of that game with the late couple of hard points from that P3 to that P4. But like I said, man, the Empire, they're just great at holding those hard points, and they get the job done here.
Yeah, they do. And we talk about this group, kind of what that means for Dallas. It's a big spot for them because they obviously improved that record down to 2-0. We talk about this group. It's kind of a battle between them and OpTic Chicago. So they get the job done here. Again, it wasn't easy when we talk about a few of these modes. Search and Destroy, obviously on Express, one to kind of take note of if you are the Empire. But really in these hardpoint study, it came down to those breaks. It really was kind of Legion not able to hold a stable setup. Really, in the Garrison or even in this raid, a lot of different opportunities for them to grab some time and bring this game ever closer, but just not the case. What iLLeY, Huke going out for the team, 26 and 15 for iLLeY. We talked about him a lot coming into this series. We really kind of talked a lot about iLLeY and Shotzzy, primarily kind of the rookies now in their second season, what they can kind of do versus a very crafty team like the Legion, but they play well. Team shapes up nicely in the respawns and make this one look pretty good.
Yeah, and if I'm the Dallas Empire, you get the job done here. But your main focus, once again, has to be those search and destroys. You drop that express search and destroy in a 6-3 fashion, and it just did not look clean overall. And like I said, they're training to try to beat Atlanta FaZe, who destroyed them in that game mode. That's what they need to improve, man, if they want to be the top dog.
Yeah, I know we talk a lot, right, about, Dallas's record, even the search and destroys at times. Like, we talk about a number of different things, and it's hard, right, because they faced off against Dallas in that long stage 1 major. They faced off against them previously as well. That's a great call, man. They really, a lot of teams, primarily Dallas Empire, they're preparing for that Atlanta FaZe team, and based off of respawns, they look to be improving quite a bit. But let's go and take a look at our scuff play of the game in that final hardpoint. We were talking about it. How can the Empire start to pull themselves away? They're up in a pretty nice spot, and this is where the game really kind of gets broken open, Study.
Yeah, so like I said, this was before they went into P4. Paris Legion were fully set up. And now you're going to see that they were set up for P5. They get 2 kills in their favor. They let Crimsix slide in by himself, able to eliminate Classic, and then eliminates Aqua, and then eliminates Scraps as well. And that was just a single-handedly break by Crimsix, man. If you're the Paris Legion, you need to have somebody watching over that kitchen room and not giving up that kill so easy to Crimsix to eventually close it out and get the 3-piece. But like I said, man, it was just the Legion not being able to hold those hard points, not being able to set up properly, and the Dallas Empire just kept on breaking in.
I gotta say, what's your biggest takeaway from the Empire after this victory today? Again, search and destroy, not so great. Respawns maybe starting to improve in a few of those. Biggest takeaway from Dallas after this one?
It definitely has to be the hardpoint dominance. They came out and they beat Paris Legion on their best hardpoint map, and they did it with ease, and then they go into a map in Raid, which they were 1-1 in the season, and they get the job done there as well. They're starting to work as a team together. You heard in that Astro listening, with Crimsix just guiding his players to where they need to be. They're starting to click in that game mode. Like I said, the search and destroy was holding them from being that top dog.
Yeah, it seems like, a few teams, for sure. Obviously, outside of the Atlanta FaZe, search and destroy, maybe causing some problems. Let's go and take a look at the Stage 2 Road to the Major now now for Dallas. Well, that's 2 done. Seattle struggle. Legion, they get the solid win here. They've got the Minnesota Røkkr still to face off against. After that, Florida Mutineers. And then again, the series that everybody is kind of waiting on, man, is going to be versus Chicago OpTic. A lot of people expecting these 2 teams to kind of be in that number 1, number 2 seed. Question remains, who is going to be in the number 1 or number 2 seed? We talked about Empire. Let's go and bring up the Legion now and see exactly how their stage 2 road to the major is looking. But they get the nice win versus the Røkkr. But hey, you run into 2 top caliber rosters. They lose to OpTic, they lose to Empire, and now they've got Seattle and Florida. And again, man, Seattle off of a win, or rather off of a good series, Florida off of a W. This is not going to be an easy group for Paris. You really kind of hope they could come away with one of these surprise wins versus our top 2 dogs, most likely in this pool.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to them versus Seattle. If Seattle can get their second control win, who knows? But it's going to be a great series nonetheless.
Absolutely. Well, hey, folks, that's one series down. We still got another great one to go. After this quick little break, it's going to be myself standing by with Shotzzy, again, the prior Astro MVP, and myself. We're going to chat about this game as well as the Empire's future focus here in Stage 2. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back. Hi everybody, this is your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. I'm Lando and joining me is Shotzzy from the Dallas Empire. Buddy, what a solid series from you guys coming into this one versus Paris. One thing that myself and Standy were really kind of focusing on kind of throughout this one was your guys' ability in the hard points, right? To break setups. There was a lot of times where we thought Paris maybe had the opportunity to bring the game back, but what do you think allowed for your guys' breaks today?
Yeah, our breaks today was honestly really good. I feel like they had set up most of that raid, but what helped us a lot is that Porter, Ender with an arrow, they would easily get a pick, and then from there on out, we kind of just kill the people around the hill. And yeah, honestly, the ARs were clutching it up in terms of like just breaking hills.
Yeah, man. I mean, I want to kind of maybe kind of revisit what was that Control round 5, a big situation for not just your guys, or rather you guys, but also Paris as well. You kind of make the play, right, in that offensive round. We've yet to see anybody win one as of yet. You kind of make the play, you stay alive. What were the comms like there in that moment for you, and the coordination for the team in those final seconds?
Yeah, so I was in their base, and I was kind of just being annoying for the most part, and then my teammates were trying to clear pool house just so we could get over to B. So then they were just communicating the whole time, and I was kind of just silently just sound horn and just seeing where like everyone was at basically. And I went basketball. I ended up killing 2 there, and then from there on out we kind of just broke pool as well. So it was like a win-win from there, and then we just stacked point. We had streaks, and we just closed it out from there.
Now, I want to ask you one last thing here. Obviously, you're coming off of that Astro MVP season. I mean, one of the best performances that we've seen in a very long time. I know Huke's kind of grabbed a majority of that spotlight so far for you guys, just in terms of the statistics-wise. But how do you assess your performance so far throughout this Cold War year?
Yeah, I've been definitely underperforming. That's like one of my biggest things going into every single day in practice. I've been trying to improve individually and, as better as a team as well. And, I'm slowly getting there. I feel like I have way more potential than I'm performing right now. And I'm just excited to see where I could be in the next couple of months.
Well, hey, man, you guys get the W here, which, of course, is great to see. Folks, that's our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Shotzzy, again, congrats to you and the team on the win. And we look to see you performing even better as time goes on, buddy.
Appreciate it, Lana.
Absolutely. Well, folks, hey, like we said, we got one game done, and we still got another fantastic one still on the way. Make sure to stay with us as the Minnesota Røkkr, now with new player Standy, taking on Chicago OpTic. We'll be back right after this quick break.
The Call of Duty League is presented by Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The US Army wants your warrior.
Welcome back, folks, to the Call of Duty League. Stage 2, Week 2, closing out our first day of action with the Minnesota Røkkr taking on OpTic Chicago. You look at that Røkkr lineup and you're seeing a new face. That man, Seany, coming in for Major Maniac, looking to make his debut today. Versus Chicago? A tough matchup for sure, Study, but I'm excited to see how much of an impact he can make for a Minnesota team that has been struggling as of recently.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he's able to do alongside with Attach. So they're going to be that S&D duo. But for me, it's all about Priestahh. Like I said in the pre-show, last overall in the CDL KD, and him switching to that flex role is going to make him more comfortable on this roster. So I'm expecting him to start playing a way bigger role for this team, especially in those hard points.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, for those that maybe didn't hear us at the start of the show, we were talking about Priestahh saying like how he has the lowest KD right now in the entire CDL.
Yeah.
Not stuff that we're familiar with when it comes down to that man, Priestahh. We would talk about his team. Let's go ahead and meet our first roster, the Minnesota Røkkr.
Røkkr certainly come to play.
They can't stop it. They can't stop the kids. They can't stop it.
Oh, Priestahh, disgusting. Accuracy's there, nice kill. Bang! 200 IQ, 10 out of 10 play. Oh my word! But Dashy's gonna save the day. Røkkr, our kings of the north.
And there's a look at your Minnesota Røkkr, a different looking team, again, coming into today as Standy is looking to have a major impact. Study, what are your thoughts on the change? Your thoughts on Standy specifically, and maybe what kind of performance that Minnesota can muster up versus a very stacked Chicago OpTic?
I think the change was needed. These guys were the worst team in hard points, so something had to have changed, and they decided to switch out Major Maniac for a player like Standy. So he's going to be that submachine gun duo with the Tatch, so that's going to speed up a lot on the map. But like I said, it's all about Priestahh switching to that flex role. Can he start to slay it out for this team? Worst overall throughout the CDL. It's all going to start on this map one hard point for me. They're the worst hardpoint team. They need to bring it versus OpTic.
Yeah, and for one of the worst hardpoint teams versus one of the best in the team that happens to sit on the other side. We've met the Minnesota Røkkr. Let's go ahead and meet OpTic Chicago.
Mighty keeps it going normal.
Looking fantastic.
Envoy slaying his way through Scump from up high, the king.
I'm out here doing what they thinking is irrational.
Really starting to run that score up.
I'm gonna make it back. I'm gonna make it back. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, OpTic Gaming are back. Chicago are a force to be reckoned with.
And there's a look at OpTic Chicago, a scary team, especially when we talk about what kind of those hard points, those controls. They have been respawn kings, to put it lightly. What study? How great did Chicago look versus Paris last week?
Oh, well, they dominated in every single respawn. The only map that they ended up losing was that search and destroy. So that's the only thing they need to be able to take care of in this series right here. Especially going up against Minnesota Røkkr, who are still probably one of the top dogs in search and destroy. Not the top dog, because you have Atlanta FaZe there, but I'm pretty sure they're sitting at second overall in that S&D game mode. So that's where it's going to really come down to me, is that raid, search and destroy for OpTic, who are currently 0-2 on that map.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how those search and destroys kind of line out as we'll take a look at our maps and modes, including that is the vetoes. Man, I tell you what, love that feature. It's great to see. One thing that, kind of is to take note of, obviously we have 3 raids in a row, then we close things out with double Moscow. In the raid respawn, Chicago currently sitting at 9-0. When we combine hardpoint and when we combine control together. So this is clearly a map and mode that they feel confident on. They're 3-0 here in hardpoint. Minnesota, again, the struggles. We've casted over Minnesota so much, Study, and we keep saying they've got to win a hardpoint. Can they do it now with the new addition in Standy? Coach Brian Saint has talked so much about this guy. He loves what he's able to bring. A great game sense. His comms are super impressive. We'll see if he can be the difference maker. Much like a lot of these kind of rookies are stepping in for their teams. We're talking about PaulEhx, Insight. Maybe Standy can have a similar impact here.
Yeah, we're going to hop right into this game, man. 2 kills are going to go in favor of the Minnesota Røkkr. So the hill's going to be contested. You see Standy with that submachine gun being aggressive, able to pick up 2. Now he's going to rotate out and just make sure he helps his teammate. Off the rotation, make sure no players from OpTic are able to slip through Zig, able to push through water. So now all the time is going in favor of Røkkr. Unfortunately, he gets bad timing there, throwing the tactical. A couple gunfights are going to go in his favor, but here comes Attach, his duo, to help him in that situation. 3 are going to drop now for Chicago and Minnesota. So far, starting off this hardpoint high.
And granted, it is literally the first, 30 seconds of the game, but it is a good sight. Again, if you're Minnesota, Standy in his first life, starting things off 4-0. Unfortunately, he does get cut down by Formal, who does get the last laugh, but it's the other SMG and Attach who is so happy to have somebody like Standy sitting alongside of him. Again, we talk about Priestahh in this new role, now setting up in Kitchen. He's off to a 3-1 start himself. But hey, it's only the beginning. There is still a lot of COD still to be played, specifically in this hard point as the King decides to hop inside of the kitchen. Unfortunately, he gets met as Envoy is there to set up right after it. An 0-4 start for Envoy for sure. Not too typical out of him, but clearly one of the main difference makers is now we are seeing a headbutt over in the kitchen.
You see Itachi's 1-0 streaks. He's just trying not to die, trying to play his life to the best of his ability, trying to give up all this time to OpTic, because he knows that if he gets these streaks, it can open up the game, but eventually he's going to drop. Great play out of Envoy. See two players from Minnesota trying to break through the front. They were able to just get the players off of OpTic, off of that P2 hard point.
It's a big win.
See accuracy off the rotation, able to win the first engagement. Now his hands are going to be full with 3 other OpTic players coming around from the water side.
Really with that 1v1 win, unfortunately for him, that does send Scump on the flank as he will deal with Standy. So if you're Minnesota, you're sitting, what, 3 strong through the weight room. Thatch talks often and how he finds himself in there quite a bit, so we'll see if he can continue to improve. But it's Minnesota through the front. Scump's having to do quite a bit of dirty work to try and keep this one afloat, but a nice peek out coming in from accuracy as Minnesota starting off things hot. Playing it close versus Chicago. OpTic, they have the spawns off the rip, but at least if you're the Røkkr, you're making this one competitive. You're making them really work for it. And as 25 seconds are left in this HP, it's Minnesota who's claiming every single one of those seconds.
Yeah, so Minnesota with the remaining 20 seconds are going to be able to break that 100 port mark. Accuracy trying to open it up with a big kill off the rotation onto Dashy. Going to see all the players from OpTic just trying to rotate out. Dashy unfortunately gets spawn trapped by Priestahh there. But OpTic are going to be nice and early setup for this P4 hard point. They're down 64 points. They need to be able to fight back and try to hold a full 60 here. See the positioning out of Standy. Trying to play his life, trying to set up the pinch, able to open up the first blood onto Formal. Now it's all about just setting up the pinch, being aggressive with your teammates. It's going to spawn Formal out. This can be the opening that they need. Standy thinks this is going to be another player around the basketball court. Here comes the trades in, and last player is going to be Envoy. He's going to drop, and once again, that's a great break for Minnesota. They're going to start putting some more time on the clock here.
Wow, man, some excellent coordination coming through from the Røkkr as OpTic Chicago, without a doubt, stunned a little bit early. We'll see how they look to try and return things as we'll go and visit in with their comms. Let's go to an Astro listening with OpTic Chicago.
Nice, they're one or two.
One shot attach hut.
One's already ring.
We gotta go.
Prestinni ring. Prestinni ring. We can play that kitchen. Let's go kitchen. Come here.
Alright, I'm coming.
We're going out kitchen. Zig.
Nice.
Good blood, guys. I got one. Zig attach. He's telling you.
One shot attach, absolute. There's 2-0. Attaches one shot.
Push up pillars.
Yo, they're spawning.
Go kitchen. I'm gonna hit our.
Spawning water.
Yo, he's on. Wait, I'm hitting pillars. I'm hitting close. Moving close. Don't see anything, though.
Yo, water stairs.
Two water. Back. No. Yo, Priestahh, one shot.
Weak water stairs. Standy.
No trophy.
Water stairs. Standy weak.
I'm help kitchen. I need help kitchen, guys. I'm here.
I'm trying to hit. I'm hitting.
And one bottom arm.
Bottom arch just holding. Bottom arch holding. Lamar.
I spawn behind him.
Yo, what? Pillars, Pillars in top ring.
Pillars, priest. I got pinched. Alright, let's go.
We're spawning out.
Yeah.
One money.
They're gonna be new.
already.
We'll go top hard.
He goes egg, yep.
I'm pitching pool. He
Yo,
can pitch
there's
six.
Priest. Absolute outer. Top ring.
Top ring, not peeking.
Lamar, top ring, one shot.
Lamar, top ring.
Top one shot.
Water stairs dead.
Trophy no.
I don't attach.
Two new.
Lamar,
Minnesota Røkkr are up by over 100 points and only looking to continue their dominance. Standy, what did you make there out of the comms from OpTic Chicago after what has been a very one-sided hardpoint?
They seem pretty frustrated, man. Every time they're trying to set up a push, a couple players from the Røkkr are just going big in those engagements. It was attached on that P5 hardpoint, and now you see them. They were able to win those rotations as well to P5, and OpTic finally are able to break in through that P1 hardpoint. Now, see Scump trying to set up for some kills at this art area. But Minnesota, they still have the laundry spawns. They're still trying to set up for P2 as well. But yeah, from those comms, it was just all about the frustration. Minnesota, they have been holding these hard points down to the T. See Standy having a great performance, 18-9. Wow. Oh, man, they're doing well, man. They're doing well. Can they do it, Lando? Can they win a hard point?
Literally, folks, they are the worst hardpoint team in the entire CDL. Of course, it's a totally different team now with Standy in the lineup, but This is a roster who we've been talking about consistently. Can they win a hard point? If they can win it, how much better would they be? A search and destroy has been great. Control's been fine. It has been all on these HPs. As again, Minnesota with spawns coming into our money hill over at Kitchen, as Dashy now sitting at 5 and 16. How often do you see that? Is attached from the front, Standy from the back, takes down Envoy, and in his debut game, Standy putting up the most kills currently in the lobby, and he's really only in competition with his good old buddy. Accuracy finally drops from the middle side of the map, but very rarely do we ever see Chicago get dominated in a respawn, let alone a hard point like this one on Raid, as Chicago have yet to drop over in Raid, and now they're 9 seconds away from their very first loss. Final 5 seconds is going to go to Chicago over at the Kitchen, but again, we rotate now toward the garage. In Minnesota, they're primed and ready. They are set up. Attach. He falls from the front, but it's Priestahh and the new roll. There's 2. There's 3 as the ARs combine, and Minnesota winning the opening hard point in a dominant way, 250 to 81, with Standy putting up one of the best performances that we have seen in his very first game. New life from the Røkkr study.
And if you're the Røkkr right there, getting that hard point win to start your series is going to change a whole different momentum throughout the rest of this series. They haven't won a game 1 hard point in a really long time, and they get the job done with the rookie and Standy. And not only in just that fashion, they did it versus probably one of the best hardpoint teams that we have in the game. And keep in mind, Lando, you kept saying it, they have yet to lose a Raid respawn, and they dropped that one, getting a 100-point club by Minnesota. Oh my God, Minnesota looks like a completely different team, man. They're starting up 1-0 in this series, and they're going into a search and destroy. Oh man, if you're OpTic, this one's kind of scary now.
Yeah, I mean, what, 7 and 18 and a Dashy, 16 and 22 from Formula. Obviously, it was just a dominant performance from the Røkkr, but yeah, nobody positive. Also, that is the 3rd biggest hardpoint win that we have seen this season, winning it by, 169 points. Impressive stuff from Minnesota. Impressive stuff out of this guy, Standy. And we talk about it a lot. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game when you're facing off against a team like OpTic in your first ever match. A lot of talk about this guy Standy. He's been kind of one of those players that we've discussed a lot in the challenger scene, and it's great to see him having an early and nice impact coming through here for the Røkkr. But folks, Minnesota stunning us early. Can they keep what is a solid run right now for the momentum into the search and destroy? We'll find out as we'll be back in just a few moments.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Call of Duty League Stage 2, Week 2, in the midst of a very interesting series. This one rather just got interesting to the Minnesota Røkkr and OpTic Chicago. So we'll go and take a look at OpTic Chicago's game fuel keys to victory. Study, what do you see?
Envoy needs to continue to lead by example in search and destroys. Like we said in the pre-show, 1.67 during wins, 0.63 in losses. So he has to be the playmaker for OpTic, especially in that game mode. And then continue to dominate and control. 9-1 in record so far on the season. Best control team that we have throughout the entire CDL. And utilize that 1-2 punch in the vetoes. 16-1 between checkmate and raid. Now make it 16-2. Unfortunately, dropping that map number 1.
Yeah, that's it's a sight to see. You see Chicago maybe somewhat stunned, now coming in the search and destroy. Who knows, man? All right, let's go into the game fuel keys to victory now for the Minnesota Røkkr. First things first, it's been on Priestahh, right? Needs to turn things around with that new flex roll. Was at a 0.85, which was the worst in the CDL. Standy needs to have a strong debut versus a slay-heavy and crafty OpTic Chicago roster. And finally, come out strong on the opening hardpoint. They are 2-9 in the season, and they've lost their last 4 hardpoints. Get those records out of here, man. Right now, they're 3-9, they broke the opening hardpoint streak. They are looking like a totally different team. And honestly, Study, out of the opening break, it was instant. Like, we could tell straight out of the gates, Priestahh's playing well, Attach is freed up, Standy goes on like a 4-0 streak to start off his very first official life. These guys, I mean, we talk about life a lot. They look like everything has been kind of breathed into them. Everybody seems to be in great synergy right now. But again, search and destroy, it was that mode for them. And obviously, when you talk about bringing in some younger players, a lot of times they do have that search and destroy background. And Standy is no different. A lot of history with this guy when we talk about the search and destroy.
Yeah, and then we're going to go into a raid search and destroy. So this is OpTic. I think this is their worst search and destroy map that they have. They're 0-2 on the season so far in raid compared to Minnesota, who are 1-0. But you can completely throw that stat off for Minnesota because this is a totally different roster here. And it's definitely showing so far that hard point. Let's see what they're able to bring in that search and destroy. If we're on the side of OpTic, we're looking at Envoy to be that playmaker once again. Such a drastic jump from when they win to lose if he's playing well.
And Chicago have actually lost their last 4 search and destroys. 2 of them have been in round 11. Again, for Chicago, it is all about control. It is all about hardpoint. S&D, not one they've had to rely on typically, and now they have to. Is again, so glad to see that HUD showing us the defending attacking team. Lives remaining for both of our rosters as well. Fantastic to see. Some great upgrades as Minnesota getting early on aggressive as Attach takes down Formal for that first blood. Envoy peeks out of Laundry, and Standy is right there with them. That SMG duo in tandem together looking oh so good as Scump and Dashy will be able to find a pick. So now that leaves us to a 2 versus 2. Accuracy and Priestahh now left to join alongside each other.
Yeah, you see, I thought that they were going to rotate towards A, but OpTic has read this perfectly. Scump's going to walk away with that huge 2-piece around the backside. I would have liked Minnesota to just rotate that bomb over towards A, but they thought that they waited enough time for the OpTic players to rotate over towards that opposite bomb site. But instead of cutting through mid-map, we wrap back and go through our base, and Scump gets the job done right there with the 2-piece to close out that round.
Yeah, great job from Chicago. Able to hold off the damage, able to hold off what was an early start from Minnesota with those picks. Again, it cannot be understated. Attach and Standy showing no fear in the opening offense, but now we'll get to revisit what Chicago likes to do on these offenses, and it appears they're going to go for more of a slow look. We talked about the aggression early from Minnesota. Chicago may be planning for that to continue as they'll make their way up the driveway. 3 heavy, now into the B point. Envoy leading the way right now.
Yeah, so they would try to just play that nice and slow in the art area, so they don't let the players from Minnesota let their location be known. But you see the shots out of Envoy was able to eliminate, to spot one player around the middle map. Priestahh is going to open up with the first blood. That's going to be a 3v4 situation for OpTic. See 2 players from Minnesota just holding this P5. They completely gave up this B bomb plant. They're just trying to set up for the retake, and now the bomb is going to be going down in favor of OpTic.
That man advantage. Yeah, Minnesota looks to try and retake some presence early, coming in from pillars. Now coming in from back jungle. Envoy needs to win one of these fights as Dashy's watching over him, and now Priestahh realizes he's got to back up. Dashy finds 2. Now a 2 versus 3, as that's going to be 1 player found out as well. All coming down to Priestahh. 18 seconds left, still have to go for the defuse. And Chicago walk away with 2 early ones. But they kind of play slow off the start here, Study, but this is just great coordination, for sure deserving of the best play. Is Dashy from one angle to the next, causing problems as the attack from Minnesota halted by 1 man.
And that's good because Dashy did not have a good first hard point. Now you see him in the search and destroy, starting off 3-0, trying to work for some streaks. If he's able to chain a couple kills more. But it's looking like Minnesota, once again, they're going to take this bomb towards that B site. Accuracy is going to be the island player sitting towards top bedroom, making sure no players from OpTic decide to push to B. First blood is going to go in favor of Standy, so now it's going to be a 3v4 situation in favor of Minnesota.
Andy getting a nice formal greeting with Envoy. Says, hey, nice to see you. Happy to be playing against you. And I'll be taking your life. Thank you very much. Minnesota, nice early pick on the offense. Mid-presence. From player 4, and that is going to be Scump. Standy does get the call out. Is he then to go for the engagement? I love this man, the rookie. Look at the face-off against the greatest SMG of all time, and Standy, he's able to win it. Another big pick, but on the other end, formal playing at the island. Does get some nice shots onto Priestahh, but it's nothing landing as of yet. As the ARs left to try and clutch up for the team. Dashy up close, and that's how the QBZ can work. Standy again, finding the pick. It all comes down to Formal, who gets found out inside of the Tiki. As Minnesota, they reply. What a great play from that middle side of the map from Standy.
Yeah, Standy opened up with the first blood there, and then he was able to back up, go right into Art, and he was just throwing non-stop shoulders at P5. He knew that there had to be a player from Chicago sitting around that position, and Scump, unfortunately, he dropped that gunfight there, so Standy went huge on that round, putting him on a 3 spree in this map number 2. Now, if you're Minnesota, if you open up with the first blood this time, I would like them to set up a pinch or just play the numbers in their advantage. They lost their last defensive hold by, even though that they did open up with their first blood, they had the man advantage. They just waited too long, and they let the players from OpTic Chicago set up, but that's going to be a great way to start it. Accuracy, open up with the first blood on a Dashy.
Nice 3-pointer. Coming in from Accuracy. Long range tends to be his forte. Low push. You see everybody just stop on the mini-map, gain some comms. But how about the shot from Accuracy? I was going to say, if he hits that one, might see a little bit of a rage coming out in the comms. Envoy not confident about the plant, decides to hop off the bomb. And really just because it's that presence from Accuracy, being such a problematic player, with no real map control through Kitchen. They've got nobody to try and engage this. They have to try to make their way from the front. Envoy, he gets traded out, and there's Minnesota. That's back-to-back.
Yeah, and Accuracy opens up with the first blood, and then him just holding down that basketball court. You saw Envoy, he was trying to set up for the plant, but Priestahh goes towards top pocket, eliminates Formal, turns it into a 2v2, and then at that point, just comes down to the trades for Minnesota, and they get the job done. Now it's tied 2-2.
5 straight for Standy.
Way to open up. Oh my God. What's up with these rookies, man? These guys always come in and they just have great debuts versus in teams that we weren't expecting, man. He's putting on an absolute show for his roster right now.
Yeah, I'm super excited as well to see Venom for the Thieves coming up. That's going to be a great debut as well. Fantastic player. Excited to see him now with that team. But one player that makes a difference, Priestahh, we talked about it. New role. Fortunately, he drops. Thankfully, if you are Chicago, that does make your life a little bit easier, but Standy does manage to put that bomb down. Chicago with that man advantage. We're going to have a whole lot of map control, but unfortunately for them, it is going to be a nice mansion push. Accuracy watching over, but that vision is now depleted. Dashy with 1, Envoy combines for the second, and it all comes down to Standy. Again, sitting on that 5 spree, 20 seconds left. You don't want to try to lose this streak, but again, if he could find a kill, that would be big for them, despite what is going to be a defuse from Envoy.
Yeah, you see him just trying to play his life. He knows that the streaks are a lot more valuable as this game continues to go on. Chicago are able to walk away with that defensive hold. It all came down to great shots from Dashy right here. Opening up with the first blood on the accuracy, you eliminate that player from top bedroom. You allow your submachine gun players to push towards the bottom. They get the second kill onto attach. And eventually they work that defuse, but just a heads up play right there from Standy. Still on a 5 spree, 2 kills away from working some score streaks of his own. Gonna hop on board here with OpTic going into their offensive push. It's looking like they're gonna commit towards this A-bomb site. This time accuracy is gonna be the only player once again at this bomb. How aggressive do they decide to play this? It looks like they're gonna try to get up straight on this bomb, work for this bomb plant at least 20 seconds into the round, and now it's gonna be a 4v4 retake if you're Minnesota.
And accuracy doesn't get any visuals. Does get traded out, but again, if you're Minnesota, you're constantly having one player over in this lane, and that very well could finally start to bite them. Attach and Priestahh comes down to these two. Attach shuts down Scump, Formal, hanging out in that top mansion. And really from one play to the next, Envoy. A nice kill coming in from him, so it's Envoy on one side, Formal on the other. They're able to win out in this 2 versus 2, but really, kind of off the start of this round study, it's accuracy by himself. He doesn't have really any vision. The only thing that he knows is that at least one player's pushed up. There's one player instead of mansion. And really from Minnesota, just off the start of this round, it's hard, right? Because you're trying to figure out where do you really want to supply your 4 players, and they lose out off of what is a constant play from accuracy over at that water side.
Yeah, and they gave up the aggression that they were taking on the map. They gave up P5, so they all were sitting out back kitchen, all sitting back laundry, and were just playing for the players from OpTic to try to be aggressive towards mid-map. Unfortunately, it comes back to bite them, and OpTic walk away with that round. So you're going to see now Minnesota on offense. They're trying to work up towards this B point once again. You're going to see the duo of Attach and Standy attempting to try to push out back laundry. Attach is just clearing out every single corner, trying to locate a couple players from OpTic. They might be able to get an engagement here pretty soon. Standy was able to spot Formal. That's going to back up Formal. So now this is going to give the opportunity to Minnesota Røkkr to try to work this bomb plan. But here comes Accurate from water steps, able to get the first blood.
Well, you like to play from Standy, right? He's able to kind of distance players back. Granted, trades happened on the other side. Those favor Minnesota. Now it's up to your young guns, Dashy and Envoy for Chicago. They could grab this round. How big would that be? The swing round as Minnesota desperately need to take this. Danny, did he get the angle? There's a player running right past him. Runs right past him. Priestahh finds one onto Dashy. Meanwhile, Envoy. 2 players here. They have to try to get this plant down soon. And if Envoy can play his life, this could be the spot. Standy goes for the challenge and he wins it. A little bit scary, right? If Envoy wins that fight, how different do things look based off the streak, based off the situation? But Standy wins the fight. In Minnesota, they take the swing round.
Yeah, it was just the opening, the aggressive that they set on towards laundry. They had the players Informal and Dashy back up. Once they do that, you saw accuracy open up with the first blood. Eventually, it gets traded by Priestahh, who was sitting top raid with great shots onto Formal from water steps. And now you're going to see Minnesota trying to fight back in this game, but OpTic are on offense. It's looking like they're trying to commit towards B. This time, Minnesota decided to take that P5 once again with the aggressive sub players, and there goes Standy opening up with the first 2.
Such an impact player, again. As that search and destroy background, we talk about so many players who have been kind of waiting for their moment. So many guys who've been playing in such long, so many years, so many tournaments. When is it ever going to pay off? And see Standy having such a great performance here. It's awesome to see. Priestahh, momentum flowing right now for the Røkkr as Formal all by himself, left in the 1 versus 4. Does take down Attach, but again, it is Standy. Minnesota. That's 2 straight. They level things now at 4-4, and they line up for the rookie.
So, even though it's at 4-4, Minnesota so far have gotten 7 first bloods out of the 8 rounds that we have played so far. Minnesota, they're trying to fight back. They're trying to go up 2-0 in this series versus OpTic. See Standy 10-3, currently on a 4 spree, Priestahh on 3. So it looks like they're going to try to take control of mid-map. He's just going to take his time, try to spot a couple players. Good shots from Dashy, open it up with the first blood on the accuracy. Now this is going to slow down the push from Minnesota. But as I say that, you see the positioning from Standy around this P5. How aggressive does he want to be? He's working towards some streaks. Will he be able to get them?
You see the confidence right from Standy. slowly but surely gaining more as time goes on. Good spot early for Chicago. Is he going to read Standy? Hanging out in the pit. King will look to try and rejoin his teammates instead. The retake is on. Dashy may get the angle. Actually, no, Standy's going to see him. Standy finds the kill. Meanwhile, it's Envoy over here at P1. Bringing us down to a 2 versus 2. SMGs aplenty. They line up. That's attached. And there's the other. Minnesota Røkkr come away with an unexpected clutch. What looked to be a great situation for Chicago. We talked about First Bloods. How really plentiful they have been for Røkkr. Dashy wins it. We're liking their spot. But it's the SMGs that clutch up for Røkkr as they are now sitting on 3 rounds in a row and are 1 round away from going up 2-0 versus OpTic Chicago. Granted, the job is not done, but I'll be honest with you, Study. I was not thinking that we would be in this situation right now.
No, neither would I, man, especially the way that this kid is playing right now. Now he's able to earn himself some streaks. There goes their artillery strike, but he's going to drop. So he's going to have it to a 5-5 if it does go the distance. But now it's going to be a 3v3. And that was Minnesota opening up with another first blood on the round. See accuracy with great shots onto Formal. Now it's going to be a 3v2. They spot one player in Dashy. He should be able to get team shot here, but here comes his teammate in Scump. He's going to get traded, so now it's going to be a 2v1 for Dashy versus Priestahh in accuracy.
Dashy sent us to around 11. Not have a great performance in that opening hard point, but oh, how great has he been in Cold War. That shot is one to be careful about. He does have the bomb. He's just not sure on where that other player is. Is he going for the flank? Is he going for the late rotation? See Dashy just not overly confident in which place, what area to go, just because he doesn't have the visuals. He doesn't have the information. Tries to go for the turn onto accuracy, but it is the Minnesota Røkkr going up 2-0. And you see the boys, they're standing up. They are hype. They are experiencing new life in this team as Standy going off for the roster. What a performance right now from Minnesota. Winning that opening hard point, and we can only got to talk about it more as time goes on, Study. How impactful was Standy in a majority of these rounds, even in that last one where he earned the streak? We may have saw it in that round 11, we'll never know. But he was just so impactful around the map. You just saw Chicago at a lot of spots they would normally have information, and a lot of spots where they would normally have comms. They don't, because Standy, he takes it away.
Yeah, Standy was taking over, man. When they were down 4-2, Standy did not die until the very last round right there at the end. Eventually earns himself some streaks, but 13-4 for the rookie. If you're accuracy, attach, and Priestahh, you're looking left and right. You're just like, we found a gold mine. This guy's playing out of his mind right now for this team, and now they put themselves up by 2-0 in the series, 1 map away from closing out this versus OpTic. Even though they're going into control, which is OpTic's best game mode, if you're Minnesota, you gotta be feeling really good.
You have to, man. You have to. And again, we talked about like Brian Saint. He's been scouting out this guy for such a long time. He's been so confident in Standy's ability, and to see it pay off, at least as of right now, it is awesome, awesome to see. Let's go ahead and revisit we talked about this search and destroy. We'll go and revisit this one with our U.S. Army tactical play. We are talking about round number 8. Again, one of the many rounds for Minnesota that kind of led to what was kind of a surprising lead for them. Again, down 4-3. Standy, they combine early, and from there you just see the impact that it has on Chicago. Those arrows on the mini-map, they just don't gain visuals. Like, the best thing for me in this search and destroy study was Standy's ability to get kills and stay alive. Very rarely did we see him get traded instantly.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he was doing with that submachine gun. Him being aggressive through kitchen, was able to pick up a 2-piece around pillars. Once you do that, turns into a 4v2. Eventually, OpTic has to work a plant. Priestahh gets the Priestahh gets the third, and it's all left up to Formal. But it was just a positioning, like you said, out of Standy, and his ability to stay alive in those situations. It was the master key in this game.
Oh man, I tell you what, it's shocking that we're here right now. We're talking Minnesota, they're up 2-0, but hey, you can never be too confident when we talk about Raid. It happens to be one of the best teams on Raid control, on control in general, in Chicago. Can Chicago look to bring it back in a reverse sweep, or are we going to see Minnesota and their first series with Standy go for a 3-0, you'll want to stay with us as we'll be back in just a moment.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
Hello, old friend.
Is that Matt, Mr. X Morello?
Maven, always good to see you. What up, Nameless?
Mr. X. More like Matt the X Morello.
Oh, Joe's here.
Don't you have a payload to push or something?
Ha, funny. I'm back in the CDL world now, baby, and I see you're still struggling to follow me up.
Guys, let's all simmer down. The fact is, I like courage more than both of you anyway.
That was Map Chat presented by USAA. I don't know what we're doing, man. That was so good. I love that. Make sure to check out the full VOD, obviously on the COD League YouTube, man. That's it's great. But kind of giving us a little bit of a highlight for some raid, which is of course coming up next for our good old Control. Røkkr, by the way, up 2-0. Who would have thought that? And a lot of it has been based off of some new life granted into Priestahh. What study in that new role, playing now with the flex, currently at a 1.53 KD through these last 2 games.
And that's basically almost double of him the entire stage 1. He was a 0.85 overall, dead last in the season. And you can just tell he's a lot more comfortable in this flex role. Standy is putting on an absolute show alongside of Attach throughout this series so far. You can just tell Priestahh's a lot more comfortable with that Krig in his hands, making sure that he's able to win those long-range engagements, and it's also slowing him down as a player. And so far throughout the series, it's showing.
It is, man. It is clearly showing the way that this guy has been able to impact the game in that opening hard point. When we talk about the search and destroy as well, 13-4. But hey, we got to level ourselves a little bit, right? We talk about hardpoint, obviously has been great for Chicago. Search and destroy, not so much. Control has been their backbone, right? They are without a doubt the best control team in the game, sitting at 9-1. That is first in a CDL, and then specifically on raid, they are 6-0. So again, we talked about raid hardpoint. It was a win for Minnesota. That was the first time Chicago has lost a raid hardpoint. A fellow respawn now in the Control, but a much different respawn given the performance from Chicago on this map and mode combination. But like we said, man, we've seen raid twice now. Similar environment, a similar territory. Who knows? Maybe Røkkr could shock us again.
Oh, man, if Røkkr get this done,
I never thought I'd say that.
I don't even know what to think anymore. I don't even know what to think, man, if they can win this Control versus OpTic. But we're just going to have to wait and see. So we're going to start off with Røkkr on their offensive side. It's looking like they're going to send 3 players over towards that A site, try to get some early ticks there. But number 7, who's Standy, is going to be that island player playing around bedroom, making sure no players from OpTic push up the water steps. 2 kills are going to go in favor of OpTic Gaming. And eventually, they're trying to just hold this push. But you see what Minnesota are going to do. Now they're fully committing towards that 8-point.
Minnesota, nice start for them. Again, we talked about it in our last series constantly, how it was really about these early captures over at A. Minnesota looking to do the same thing. Now, in comparison to our last series, it was teams really kind of struggling after getting what kind of like that 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. How do you really kind of value your life? How do you eventually break that defensive hold here over at B? We'll see what Minnesota's got cooked up for us now. It appears a push now in toward that back jungle position, catching Scump off guard as Kitchen was wide open. Nearly another one onto Formal. He's prepared for the fight, but that's 2 big ones coming in for Matthew Piper.
Yeah, Formal goes huge right there in the back jungle, right there to slow down the push from Minnesota. Standy was trying to do everything he can from that top window, but he was eventually going to drop. So now this is going to slow down the push from Minnesota. You see that number 3 player in Envoy is completely canceling the spawns from Minnesota to spawn at that water street. There goes 4 down once again. Now all the Minnesota players have to push around this left side, try to go through this 8-point, and try to work around the back side to try to break this setup that OpTic currently have.
In terms of overall lives, somewhat even right now. Again, just waiting for somebody to make the play. If you're Chicago, you cannot afford to go down 3-4. That's really the key for the offense. And Dashy, but kind of behind enemy lines toward that bottom mansion side, is going to continue to be a thorn in the side for Røkkr. Again, that, minute and 19, or 2 minutes and 19, now kind of cut down already. Just a minute on the clock, and Minnesota, they are pushed back to their base. Farthest pushed up players attached. He falls instead of money. Envoy hanging out on the ledge, as that's going to be 2 in a row. Chicago, they continue to roll.
OpTic are just holding. They're getting every single kill in their favor. Currently have a 6 live advantage. It's going to force all the players from once again from the Røkkr. Try to push around that back laundry side, but Formal is going to be here to read it. Here comes Scump for the assistance as well. They have 2 players pushed up all the way at bedroom, so they don't have to focus on that. Focus on the backside. Here comes Formal, able to open up the first 2 kills. Standy and his teammate Inaccuracy trying to work through Kitchen. Formal slowly waiting. Here comes the Semtex. He's going to be able to trade that onto Standy. Last player in a position to try to get on this point is going to be Accuracy in money window. Scump's going to be able to win a big gunfight in towards Kitchen. Trying to go for the second honor Accuracy. That's going to be 2 down again for Minnesota. That goes 3 with 5 seconds remaining. It's looking like OpTic are going to walk away with this defense.
What do you like there from Chicago? Again, we talked about it kind of in our first series. We never really got a chance to hit on what was the dominant defense when it comes down to that point. What has been the key to success that you've seen in our past 2 maps? I know we're early in the second one, but what do you think has been so good from the defenses to not allow for really the offense to break with 2 minutes on the clock?
It's all about just being aggressive towards that bedroom area. When you get 2 players pushed up to that positioning, all the pressure is on those players who are watching that flank, who are watching back laundry side, and consistently OpTic were winning every single engagement, not giving the Røkkr any opportunity to set up that pinch, and they get the job done there.
Get the job done, and what, if you're really Chicago with, hey, it's just nice to get a point on the board, it's nice to be up really in this series. We'll see how they look coming into later parts of this round. We talk about comms a lot, especially on a map like Raid Control. Sometimes it can be hectic. Let's go to the comms now with our Astro listening on Minnesota Røkkr.
Zig go.
Looking at water steps.
Still on
Yeah,
Zig.
they're on B, they're on B.
I got out Zig.
They beat basketball.
One shot.
Yeah,
Zig push
yeah,
back,
one
Zig,
basketball,
Zig,
basketball.
Zig.
He's in basketball.
One Zig
In the room on
Dashy.
me.
Where's he Zig? Backed up.
Tiki.
Backed up Zig. Okay, I'm going water
Push up on
steps.
this guy, Tiki.
I'm helping you on time.
I can see from bed.
Zig.
From bed.
Oh,
He's
Tiki,
front bed.
Tiki, one shot. I'm blocking A. I'm one shot.
Tiki dead.
Nice, from bed.
They're spawning bed. They're spawning B. One's garage on me spawn actually. Garage spawn. They could go in.
I front bed.
I'll get it.
Front bed to me, Sean.
Two. I got one.
Nice.
I have it.
Envoy's gonna be mid or something. I'm
One
trying
second,
to
I'm dead.
That's him. One way. Let's go.
Nice.
On A gun, he's right side. He's pushed up on our side.
Are they going for it right now? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pinch. Okay. I'm nading their
I
side.
can reinforce B if you want me.
Yeah, I'm pinching. Two their side.
I'm looking at push you A.
I'm one shot. There's 2 their side. You can full flash them, guys. You hit me on mid. You hit me on mid. Set.
Mid, set dead.
There you go. Guys, I'm going out right now.
Their side point.
Yeah. Hold that. Hold that.
Their side point. I'm weak. I have to go play. I have to go play.
Probably now they gave it. They got it. Alright. Play for
Yeah, they got me.
I'm trying to push that out.
Play for exit kills.
I'm gonna get pull stairs. Could be top.
Yeah, he could be above me.
Yo, can someone go money? Like
I got one pull steps. Alright, I'm coming money.
He might hit me in the back.
I have top beds.
Low-key.
I'm in the back right now.
Chicago able to secure that a point from one rookie to the other. Standy as well says, hey, actually, that tree line side is actually a pretty good one, but all seriousness aside, what, Study? What'd you make of the comms there from Minnesota throughout what was a little bit of a nice sequence from their opposition?
I love those comms, man. It sounded like aCBeZy is going to be the leader of this roster. He's going to be trying to set up his players where they need to be, but everybody is also stepping up in that communication column. You heard Standy said, someone filling that water steps, someone filling the kitchen. So these guys are just working together, all feeding off of each other's information that they're giving each other. So far on their defensive, they've been able to hold this versus OpTic. You're going to see the opening from Scump. There's going to be no players on this B site. Scump's trying to stay alive at this pocket window. He's going to be able to take down the second in Standy. Is he going to be able to get the third in Priestahh? No, he's not. But this is the opening that OpTic need. Now they're able to get on this point. They just need to chain a couple kills together to try to close out this round.
Yeah, really a great play from Scump. Finally, he's able to kind of free open some space, gets the angle, and tries to make it work. But just as we start to talk about all of that progress, it all really kind of goes out the window, right? Minnesota able to hold on well. They've placed really a few of their ARs kind of in those top side positions like money, back basketball court. And now we're back to exactly where we started. But final push, pretty much inbound. Envoy having a little bit of team support as Formal looks to join inside of the fray as well. Scump opens up with a nice kill. Here comes Envoy again. The utility is out, but it's attached. It's Formal. Everybody following, but it's Minnesota with the overall trades at the end of the day. And Standy with a dirty kill over onto Dashy, setting up attached. Chicago, no respawns remaining, and Minnesota are going to bring us now to a 1-1, winning their defense as well.
Yeah, and it all started off the rip of that. You saw OpTic, they were trying to go right up the middle of the map. Just a lot of kills are going in favor of Minnesota. Attached, once he opens up with that two-piece towards bottom bedroom, all the players do spawn at that A point. Eventually, they work that point, but they were just stalling so much time at that bedroom positioning. Had OpTic just turning around, doing 360, making sure that there was no players coming from the backside, coming from the front. And eventually, Minnesota get the hold there and eventually close out that defensive round. They're going to be going into another offensive push. We saw the way that they decided to play it last time. They got that A point nice and early, but OpTic held that B point for 2 minutes with just the positionings that they had. Do Minnesota decide to do anything different here? Nope. It's looking like they're going to commit towards A once again.
Say don't break what, or rather don't try to fix what isn't broken, but also at the same time, it's when you got the time, it's just a matter of can you break over at B. I almost kind of want to see Minnesota get cleared off of A just because maybe they have a chance at the other side. And hey, I get my wish, right? Formal comes through with a nice double on that nade. Instantly has a few more players staring down the barrel. His accuracy, a nice shot coming through from him. And on the other side, really from the spawns, Envoy's trying to put in some pressure. In the meantime, all these fights continuing to accrue. And it's Minnesota on the point. Now one, about to be 2 ticks in. And this one should be theirs. Yeah, really. A white flag coming out of OpTic Chicago saying, hey, we're going to give that point away. This has been where all the pressure has been on, right? It has been all about how do you aggress at B. Well, we've been kind of in the classroom trying to figure out how do you engage this, especially versus a team like OpTic Chicago. This is Røkkr's chance now to finally change things up. And see Chicago not wanting to give any positions away. aCBeZy finds a great pick onto somebody who was over at their mansion side. That player quickly is going to be back off of spawn, but 2 players go down for Røkkr. There goes Standy. Back and forth we go, but it is Chicago holding again over at B.
Yeah, they stopped that push, and now it's going to force Minnesota Røkkr once again to try to set it up by pushing around the backside. They're trying to eliminate Formal out of bedroom. They get the job done there. Do they know that Dashy's in the position that he is? He's going to shoot right there, so he's going to give that up. So now you see both players just trying to work up, trying to eliminate him. On the opposite side of the map, you see aCBeZy winning a big engagement. It's going to force all the players from OpTic to spawn towards bottom basketball, so they don't have any bottom control. If they win these engagements on this front side at bedroom, this could be the opening that Minnesota need. Standy was able to take down one. Did he locate Dashy, though? He's still trying to locate him. Going to jump from the front window. Eventually, he's going to drop, and 3 go down now for the Røkkr.
Chicago, just like they drew it up. Progress made from Minnesota at times, but continually being brought back. The strategies, continuing to struggle. Trying to get a pick. Nice trigger discipline out of Scump. Nearly turns on the second, but when you look at that kill feed, in some ways, the job is done. Player 7 and player 6, the SMGs, they've got to make an impact here. Attach does find a nice one onto Envoy, and there goes another. So they have done enough, right? They have done enough, and they start to actually pop up in the feed. That's a great moment. Finally coming in from Røkkr. Have they bought themselves enough time? Chicago sprinting off the spawn right into the sight lines of Attach. Hanging out in the small room, tries to shut down Formal as the ARs, they look to try and answer back. Standy wins a big fight, and now it comes down to like a 1 versus 2, 20 seconds. Again, live-wise, players are good to go. That's not going to be a factor. Wins another one versus Dashy. That's Attach, combining for a few as well. Last player's going to be Formal, and he falls. Minnesota, they clean up the offenses. They finally figure out the offensive woes. And it comes from the rookie again. Standy making the plays, shutting down players in stride. And really this looks like the opposite of a debut. It looks like he's been doing this for such a long time. Stays alive long enough where Minnesota can get control and get that 3 and 4 down.
Ah, man, he just played that round so beautifully. You saw him, he was in that kitchen area. Once they pick up that second kill onto Envoy, wrapping back, he forces all the players to spawn out back laundry. On the opposite side, Accuracy opens up with a big kill onto a player in bedroom, so that eliminates every single player from OpTic now on that side of the map. They were able to get 4 down and eventually set up the push, set up the setup that they wanted to get on that to close out that offensive round. Now they found themselves game point away from closing out this series and potentially 3-0 in OpTic Chicago, which is something we weren't expecting. And now they're on defense. Lives are going to be tied. But OpTic are trying to work for this early 8-point and trying to get some more time on this clock.
Yeah, Minnesota just trying to delay. Envoy does get picked there, so Minnesota does have somewhat of a presence. As Attach on the flank, that's actually a great play. That could turn into something special for them. So yeah, they will clear out that 8-point. They're going to send the rotation possibly back now toward that B position. And Priestahh is ready and waiting. He gets picked. Envoy, meanwhile, in the spawns. Players dropping like flies. But overall, it's working out for Minnesota. As long as you can keep Chicago off of these points, you're going to take it. It's really just a matter of time for whenever they're able to get there. As Priestahh drops, Formal now makes his way over toward B. Chicago, they've got 3, possibly 4 strong now over at this B control point.
Yeah, and OpTic are trying to get this B point nice and early, but 2 are going to drop now in favor of Minnesota. Standy going huge again with the huge 2-piece. 25 seconds remaining on the clock. That's going to be 2 down for OpTic. The players are trying to run towards that 8-point, but Attach is doing everything he can to keep them off of it. Time is starting to tick for OpTic. Can they fight back in this one? Can they extend the series? 15 seconds remaining. Attach is doing everything he can around the middle map. Can they do it?
This is their chance as Formal and Scump, T2P going big now over at the 8-point. Again, fighting for their series lives right now. They drop this round and they are done. Chicago, they go big down the stretch. But you see, Minnesota instantly, they swarm now over at this 8-point. They clear out enough players, and now it's the race. Now it's the race. Dylan Price, 26 and 18, putting in some work for Minnesota today. And now Chicago, 50 seconds on the clock. They are down bad in terms of the lives. And really, Dashy and Envoy, they need a sequence here. They need a play. Envoy finds the first one toward the top mansion side. Again, Røkkr trying to separate themselves throughout the map. Got a whole lot of time left to work with, but the trophy goes down. Dashy, another pick from him. Slow and steady goes Chicago. One more coming in from water stairs. Despite not having any respawns left, that could be good. That could be good. Formal and Envoy, they find 2. Still 1 on the flank. As Accuracy drops as well, a possible clutching position for Chicago as it all comes down to Formal and Envoy. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work. Formal falls, and it all comes down to Envoy and Minnesota Røkkr in their debut. 3-0 OpTic Chicago and ending the undefeated streaks in the raid respawns. Unreal stuff. Magic for Minnesota.
let's just throw every single stat that we have so far on the Røkkr out the window, because this team is a completely different beast, man. From start to finish of this series, they wanted it more. Standy came out and had an unbelievable debut for his team. You gotta be feeling really good if you're the Røkkr versus who you went up against in OpTic, getting the 3-0, beating them on 2 different raid respawns, which is a map that they have yet to lose all season. Hats off to the Røkkr, man. This new roster is pretty good.
Oh my gosh, that is... I mean, like we said, man, my pick'ems are out the window. Out the window. You can see
man.
Røkkr, they're stunned they just did this. Like, they're like, hey, like, okay, we'll take it, but my goodness, what a different look that our CDL teams have had after bringing in these challenger players. We talk about it constantly. What Insight, PaulEhx, and without a doubt, one of the most impressive debuts of them all, obviously gets the 3-0 win versus Chicago in Standy. Unreal. I never thought coming into today that we would have saw a 3-0, maybe a win, possibly if you're going to go for the rookie to have a great debut, but never a 3-0, stunning us to close out the day. We look at those stats: 28 and 25 from Standy, 27 and 20 from Attach. What, 4,400 damage, almost 5K damage coming in from Attach as well. I'm stunned, man. I really am. I'm stunned. Just like how I had it in the pick'ems, buddy. You know what? Minnesota all the way. We had it from the start, no doubt. No doubt about it. No, I love the guys in Minnesota, but that was insane, man. I don't know what to say after that.
Yeah, neither do I, man. They beat OpTic in 2 respawns that were both on raid, which they were completely undefeated on throughout the entire season. And it's not like they didn't do it with ease. That first map, they 100-point clubbed them. That map 2, they were down 4-2, won 4 rounds straight to close that out. And eventually on that last map right there, that last defense was so huge on the side of Minnesota, man. But them opening up with that offensive win as well is what really gave them the win on this map.
Yeah.
You gotta take your hats off to the Røkkr, because this looks like a totally different beast, and I'm excited to see them play throughout the rest of the week.
I am too, man. I'm excited to see what Minnesota can possibly provide us with. Let's go ahead and revisit this control. For our scuff play of the game, we'll revisit round number 3 in particular, and it really was the continuous plays from guys like Standy. Again, you talk about kind of the necessary round from Minnesota, and the opportunity for them to go up 2-1. They stay alive, and Minnesota from here, I don't want to say it's smooth sailing, but they get exactly what they needed.
Yeah, so they get 3 down right there. Attach was able to get on that point, eventually open up with the first kill onto Envoy. But look at that mini-map. You're going to see 2 players drop. Here comes Standy to try to make the play. He's able to get 2. The last player that's going to be able to contest that point is going to be Formal and Envoy. So there's going to be 2 players from Accuracy and Standy, but you see Standy, no hesitation, pushes towards that top window, able to get the first, attach with the second nade, then trades just come in. It was just such a well-executed play right there out of the Røkkr when it came to positioning, when it came to timing of the kills. Everything just went in their favor right there to close out that round.
And what's most impressive to me, man, was just the instant difference that you see come through from this roster. I mean, in the opening sequence in the hard point, it was just really from there, you could tell. But let's go take a look at our Astro Social soundboard. We got a few tweets coming through from Miles the Ross. This is Randy for Standy. Of course, nice quote coming in from Chance. And then also, Priestahh could be my new favorite AR player to watch. Hey, what, man? He had the performance today that we have been waiting for. Again, that .885. Yes. It was almost, like I said, it was funny to see, because it's not the way that Priestahh plays. Like, when we talk about a guy like him, a .85 is not at all indicative of how talented that he is. We talked about his performance last year with Atlanta FaZe. Many people kind of talked about it, how we really didn't get the chance to see the ability that he had because of the players that he's around. Now he comes into this Minnesota Røkkr player, or rather this Minnesota Røkkr team, expected to be one of those guys. Hasn't been that, but now you see the role change and just the way that it affects the entire team. We talk constantly about roster changes, how important they can be. But I'll tell you what, man, that one addition of Standy, you see it happen, and what a difference maker it makes now to this Minnesota team. And now looking ahead to their Stage 2 road to the Major, they lose their opening 2 games without Standy. They go 0-6. Now a hot 3-0 here versus Chicago again. The track, it doesn't get much easier, right? You still have Dallas Empire to face off against in a few days. Then you've got the Seattle Surge, who are looking much better as well. But that is one heck of a way to start it off. And again, Cannot say enough. There were a lot of people coming into this week that were saying, hey, we could see an 0-4 start from Minnesota. I was even one of those guys who said that could be a possibility. But now OpTic Chicago, we talked about their ability here in Group B, does get kind of cut down, right? Obviously, they get this loss here to Røkkr. They got Florida, Seattle, in that final game versus the Dallas Empire. But, I mean, if you're Chicago, you're just relying on Dallas to hopefully lose, so that game, it means more.
Yeah, and if you're coming out like Chicago today, man, it's not the Chicago that we're always expecting to see, especially from a player of Dashy's caliber. He did not have a good series in that series right there. He was #1 overall throughout every single player for control, KD, and unfortunately, he did not go positive in any of those respawns. So just go back to the drawing board. It's time to work those kinks out and come back better next time.
Definitely, man. It's going to be fun. Well, folks, this year, when you watch Call of Duty League matches, you can earn in-game rewards like exclusive emblems, calling cards, weapon stickers, charms, and more. Make sure to go to callofdutyleague.com to register and link your Activision and YouTube accounts so you can earn this weekend's rewards. What a cash-stacked weapons charm and a 30-minute double XP token. But I got my accounts linked. I got my feed up just toward the side, and I'll tell you what, man, I'm actually on my screen right now. I'm actually seeing Minnesota just celebrate. It's awesome to see those guys play the way that they did. I'm stunned, man. I'm still stunned. I don't know what to say after that.
Yeah, me too, man. This is a completely different roster, man, from top to bottom. In every single game mode, these guys showed life. We were talking about it. Hardpoint was their worst game mode. They're 100-point club, one of the best hardpoint teams that we have throughout the entire CDL. Yeah. It's new flavor for this team, and I'm excited to see what they do forward.
New flavor indeed. A much different looking Minnesota team. Excited to see what these guys can do. Really, throughout the rest of this week and throughout the rest of this stage. But folks, when we come back, it's myself sitting by with the rookie himself, Standy. We get a chance to talk to the young legend, the guy who gets the nice 3-0. Folks, we'll be back with that interview and more right after this.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance. We offer insurance that's made for the military community to help them easily protect what they've worked hard for.
Røkkr certainly come to play.
They can't stop it. They can't stop the kids. They can't stop it.
Oh, Priestahh, disgusting. Accuracy's there, nice kill. Bang! 200 IQ, 10 out of 10 play. Oh my word! Attach is going to save the day. Røkkr, our kings of the north.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Stage 2, Week 2. It's our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight, and I am here with the man of the hour. Joining me is Standy from the Minnesota Røkkr. What, Standy? We got to talk about it, man. What, your performance? It's your debut game. You're going up against OpTic Chicago. Tell me, were there nerves coming into today's match?
I really don't think there's any nerves because the team was struggling in the last few matches, so they kind of brought me in and told me, like, hey, just do your thing, see what you can do, no pressure, play confident, and you know what I mean? I came out and tried to show people what I can do and what I'm capable of, so, I mean, I'm really happy right now, and I'm proud of the team so far.
I think you definitely showed quite a few people, my friend. What a 1.52 KD in this series. Clearly led the way for Minnesota in this series. And what, a number of different kind of numbers to take a look at, right? You take down Chicago in a 3-0. You end their undefeated streaks in the raid respawns and that hard point in the control. What do you think this win, I know you talked about it a second ago, what does this win do, you think, for your Minnesota team?
I think this win is important because I think it shows that going into our next match against Dallas that, hey, we're a threat. Like, we can win these 2 next matches and start in winners in this major. So, I mean, that's the plan here, and we're going to go back to the lab, keep practicing, and hopefully turn things around and win. So
absolutely, man. That's great to hear. It's great to hear, and I've actually had the chance to cast with you for a little bit of time, like back in like Black Ops 4 or even earlier days than that, and you've been one of those guys in Search and Destroy tournaments, constantly grinding, constantly playing in these matches, kind of leading up into this moment. And I want to kind of give the audience a chance to kind of learn a little bit more about your play style, about your ability as a player. What do you think makes yourself such a threat around the map?
I think I take really good routes on the map, and I'm also good at being like the entry fast player on the map, but I also think I take really good routes to cut off the map, so then my players off spawn or my teammates have a easier job. The map is a lot more controlled. I think I'm an engineer player, so I think I'm really good at, like, with trophies, knowing where the trophies are. And overall, I just been grinding for this moment, and you know what I mean, I'm at a loss for words right now. I'm just really happy. So.
Well, hey, man, I tell you what, it was a great performance without a doubt. I got to ask you, when you talk about about this team, you got a new fan base obviously supporting you, a lot of happy Minnesota fans tonight. You got any words for the Røkkr fans out there?
I appreciate all the love with the last few days, and I'm going to continue to do my thing and try to bring home some chips this year for the Minnesota Røkkr. And I just wanted to say I appreciate all my teammates as well. They're great people, and they really made this easy for me. And shout out all of them, shout out all the fans, and yeah, thank you guys.
I love it, man. I love it. When you get the nice support there coming in from Dylan attached, showing some love, it's great to see, man. Well, folks, that was our
duo.
Absolutely, buddy. Definitely was a threat around the map without a doubt. Of course, that's our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Again, Standy, congrats on the win, and congrats to you on the team for that W. Well, folks, what a match, right? What a game. What a way to close out the day. Again, I kind of predicted it a little bit. I got the Minnesota hoodie ready to go. I was, we're rooting them on the entire time. No, I'll be honest, man. I'm surprised, impressed, to say the least. As we're going to take a look at the matches that we got coming up for the remainder of Week 2 here in Stage 2 with our U.S. Army match schedule. But coming into tomorrow, we've got the Los Angeles Thieves taking on the London Royal Ravens. How great is it going to be, right? PaulEhx taking on Venom. Venom, of course, making his debut for the Thieves as well. And then to close out the day, New York Subliners versus LAG. Excited to see how that game goes as well. But hey, it's going to be a great day of matches. It's going to be a lot of fun to see exactly how everything begins to line out. These rookies, folks, I tell you what, we talk about challengers so often, how, the challenger scene has really kind of started to develop, how it's really kind of started to improve over time, and there is no doubt about it. There is so much talent in that challengers division, and it's great to see. Well, folks, that's going to conclude today's day of matches. For the entire talent and production team, I'm Landon Lano Sanders signing off for the final time, wishing you a great and safe night.
Dallas Empire have smashed the gates open. Oh no, Huke is in, you mate. Oh, it's a shot punch. Oh no! Once again, they saved the day. Røkkr certainly come to play.
They can't stop it. They can't stop the kids. They can't stop it.
Oh, Priestahh, disgusting. Accuracy's there, nice kill. Bang! 200 IQ, 10 out of 10 play. Oh my word! Attach is going to save the day. Røkkr, our kings of the north.